Like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show. Weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
We can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you're
Like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show. Weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
we can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillars. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Roger Report Live, the best show on social media. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and take a moment out to hit that like button, because this is where you're going to find the best content on social media, and you don't have to worry about it because you're going to have me right here to make sure that happens. And if you've already been coming to the channel for a while, then go ahead and hit that like button, because you already know what time it is, and you know that this is where you're going to get the best content on social media. It's not a mystery to you at this point. You've seen other people do it. You've seen other people do it well. But what you have not seen is anyone do it quite the way I do it. So make sure you hit that like button. And everyone, yes, everyone, take a moment out to share the content, y'all. There are so many people who need to get great content like this, and it's just a small thing you can do to help the world be a better place. And isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Don't we want the world to be a better place? Of course we do. So share the content out. Share it through your social media. Share it through word of mouth, or even text someone's phone. But do what you got to do to help spread the word. All right, folks, today we are coming back with another interesting show that could go in a lot of different directions. And I'm a little excited to see where they're going to go, y'all. Today, we are going to deal with, should black men care if America falls, y'all? Should black men care if America falls? So this is set to be a great one, but we'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. Now, before we get too far into this, I want to take a quick moment out to say shout out to all the people who give me consistent views. Appreciate you big time. Appreciate you big time. You know, it does a lot of help for the channel. Shout out to everybody who makes comments after the stream. That definitely helps with the algorithm. Shout out to everybody who hypes me up every time they get a chance to. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Shout out to everybody who hits that like button. Y'all know that like button means something around here. So if you ain't done it already, make sure you hit that like button. And shout out to the people who go above and beyond the call of duty, the people who become financial contributors over here at the Roger Report Live. I appreciate every single one of y'all big time. And y'all, big or small, I do appreciate it all. Big or small, I do appreciate it all. And shout out to Artisan MC, who is the sponsor of today's stream. Appreciate you big time, brother. Appreciate you big time. Y'all, man, let me give a couple shout outs to some of the first people to check in this morning. Is always great when you start the show. That you see a few people checking in. Always a good thing to see. But y'all know how it goes around here. There can only be one. So shout out to my main man, Kevin 3905. Well, he did change his name, the Great Black Reset. Shout out to him. He is the Highlander of today's stream. Now, if you ain't been Highlander of about 4 or 5 streams, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? You need to get some of those under your belt. You need to get some of those under your belt. It shows some level of experience. You need to get some of those under your belt. All right. Shout out to my main man, Roastmaster One, coming in right behind him. Great to see you, my brother. Great to see you. Afro Merchant is in the building as well. Great to see you, brother. Great to see you. Music Man 1982 is in the house. Shout out to you, my brother. Great to see you. Great to see you. We got Chef Mike's Roundtable in the building. Gonna help us keep some order with the pit crew around these parts. Hey, brother, I appreciate all that you and the pit crew do, because, you know, it ain't quite the same without y'all. You know, I'm a man that know where I need a little help. That's why I got the pit crew, y'all. Sometimes it's okay to mention you need a little help. That's what the pit crew for. Shout out to Inspired Truth Broadcast. What's going on, my brother? Great to see you. Great to see you. We got Indico Flow in the building. Good to have you. My main man, Elder Blood, is in the house. Great to see you. Trail Bentley is in the house representing as he always does. Hashtag long live the habitual line steppers. Hashtag Negroes in the wilderness. Hashtag dignity over vagina. Hashtag Al Gore's babies. And my personal favorite, hashtag Hail Hydra. Shout out to you, my brother. Shout out to you. Great to see you in the building. My main man, Grab Second Get 80, is in the house. Good to see you. Boot Camp is at the cool table. What's popping, my brother? Brother John is in the building. Great to see you. We got MJD the second in the house. Great to have you, brother. Patrick Saint is here. Good to have you. Capri 10 is here. My main man, Floyd Thompson, is in the building. Great to see you. Even Soul Provider is here bright and early. Good to have you, brother. Good to have you. We got Elijah Bay in the house. Hero for Hire is here as well. Y'all, we gonna get into it, y'all. It's a very interesting question that I pose. Should black men care if America falls? And I know people could say, well, why would you ask a question like this? Well, America is seen around the world as an important country. I'll say that. I'll say important. There are a lot of Americans who see this as the greatest country ever. There's some people who don't see it that way. Same thing with people across the world. There's some people see it as this great, wonderful opportunity. That's why people will risk even their lives to come to this country. While there's other people who don't think America's all that. You know, And they have a right to feel any way they want to about this country. They have a right to think any way they want to about this country. It's all about what's presented to them where they happen to be. Now, the internet does it's very much changing some people's viewpoints because you see stuff that controlled media wouldn't necessarily want you to see. You know, some of that stuff gets out. Now, don't get it twisted, y'all. Even all these platforms we own, you know, there's certain levels of control. They do things to make sure somebody sees and don't see something. Okay, it is what it is. Now, the thing is, America is a country. It's a country I happen to live in. So, do I love the country? Yeah, I love it because I'm here. Okay, you know. Do I have issues with the country? Absolutely. This ain't no perfect country. Ain't no perfect people on planet Earth right now, which means ain't no thing that people make perfect. Just is what it is. Not even a country. Ain't no perfect people, so you can't make a perfect America. All you can do is do the best you can. You know, you can put your good foot forward and hope for a good result. That's all you can do. But is this a perfect country? Absolutely not. Okay. Has this country been good for black men? That depends on your viewpoint. Because I'm going to say overall, it's been doing everything it can to not be good for black men. Anything American society believes it can get away with that's going to go against black men, it has tried. Okay? There ain't nothing America hasn't tried if they think they can get away. And I say that as the people who live in America. Have they killed black men? Yep. You know, have they made examples of black men? Yep. Have they took property from black men? Yep. Have they taken businesses from black men? Yep. Have they killed black men wives? Yep. Have they killed their children? Yep. Ain't nothing you can name that America hasn't done to black men unprovoked. It's that simple at the end of the day. There ain't nothing you can name that America thought that they can get away with doing to black men that they have not done from an unprovoked standpoint. Nothing, literally nothing. Everything America thinks he can get away with, they do it to black men. You know, we've had slavery, we've had rebellions, we've had wars, whatever you want to name, we done been through that. It just is what it is. Does America like black men now? Absolutely not. Are there some people who like us? Sure, there's you know, you can find some people that like us. Does the majority of Americans like black men? No, no, no. The majority of Americans do not like black men. Even the people who believe they like black men, they don't like us. Okay. Shout out to Reynolds. He's a Tuskegee experiment. Absolutely, absolutely. Just one of the many things that they've done to black men. Okay. So does America's like? No, America don't like us. You know. Now, some people say, well, you know, the average everyday white person, you know, they probably don't think about black people like that. They probably like black men. I'm gonna say, nah, not really. Nah, not really. I'm not saying the everyday average person will want to solve your problems for you. But if they liked you, they would agree with you getting a fair shot. They would agree with that. Does the average American anything want black men to get a fair shot in this American society? And I'm going to say the vast majority of people do not. Okay? The vast majority of people do not. And when it comes to white folks especially, you know, they have a mindset that has been trained for a lot of years at this point, a lot of programming to say, no matter how much you fall, at least I'm better than those niggas. Okay? That's part of the American apple pie, as they say. You know, it's part of the pie. I'm better than those niggas. All right. Now, some people even believe that when they're clearly not better. And even though they look at somebody as a nigga, you know, they're a crackhead. They look at the guys in business suits having real things. And they say, well, I'm better than those niggas. Well, they wrong. They wrong. But that is a viewpoint. Okay? It's a strong viewpoint in this country. Now, Black men deal with a whole lot of stuff in America. Okay, we got a country that don't like us. Now, don't get it twisted. Just because I'm aware that America as a country doesn't like me, doesn't mean I can't love my country. I still love my country because I'm here. So I love my country. I'm just not blind to what my country does. Okay. Now you could have an internal battle with that on should I love my country? That's an internal battle for you. I might as well love it. I'm here. Okay. But that don't mean it can't get better. And that can't mean I can't give efforts to make it better. But I am here. So might as well love it. Okay. Just is what it is. And I'm not saying anybody would have to agree with that. You could be here and not love it, and it would make sense to me as well. Because especially if you're a black man, you got a ton of reasons not to love this country. Now, there's a lot of people who are vocal about America. They even burn flags and things like that. Are they dealing with the stuff black men got to deal with? No. So what they tripping about? I mean, they got reasons here now. Is it that big a deal? Not to me. Not to me. Because I don't see them going through the stuff that we go through. So no, not to me. Now, y'all, as y'all know, some people have made some issues over the borders. We got things going on right now where things like ICE would be in the news. Okay. Now I roll through social media, to see what's up about a lot of different things, y'all. Do y'all know it's people who salty that black people ain't gonna be deported? Yes, y'all. It is people who think FBA Americans, foundational black Americans, can and might be deported. Now, the thing is, I don't think black people should be attacking these particular issues per se, unless it really turns into something. But I see a lot of people who cover this stuff. I will say this: these were non-American people. Okay, you can just tell by the accents that it's safe to say that these were non-American people. I don't even know if the people were in America. It seemed like a lot of Africans were covering this stuff, where they put these compilations together of. Now I'm gonna say this is the thing: they put compilations of people who seem to be Americans in some kind of way, or at least living in America. They was a little upset. And some folks were saying, black folks, y'all gonna be next. And they talking about deportation. Now I'm sitting there like, you been in this country for how long? And you don't know we ain't getting deported. You ain't figured that out yet. Did you attend an American school? Did you learn anything about the country? We not getting deported. Now, see, this is the thing. I'm not tripping that random people making a video and they feel some type of way about the country. But see, this is the thing. The government makes these decisions. And it don't take a genius to be in America and figure out black men don't control the government. So we ain't made no decision to deport anybody. Now, I would say as a black man, I am not tripping about anybody being deported who doesn't belong here, because you're just a waste of my tax dollars. It just comes to that at the end of the day. So do I care if illegal immigrants get deported? No, I prefer you get deported. Why? Because it saves me money. It's that simple at the end of the day. It's just a quick little financial decision. Do I have anything against an illegal immigrant outside of them wasting my money? No, but I mean, wasting somebody's money is kind of a big deal. Okay. When I have a government that can't fix my pothole because they're trying to feed somebody who ain't even supposed to be here, that does turn into an issue. Have you ever driven down the street and ran through a pothole and had to get your rim replaced? Because I have. That's simple at the end of the day. Okay. So I ain't worried about no illegal immigrants. Does that mean I have anything against any particular person? No, because I don't care about who you are. You could have immigrated from illegally from Mexico. You could have came from Haiti. You could have came from anywhere. I don't actually care. It's just a simple thing of you're not an American and we're wasting American money on non-Americans. That's simple. ain't got nothing against any particular people. Okay, you're not American. We waste money on non-Americans, and I don't see why I would want to waste money on a person who's a non-American. Now, I'm good with charity. I'm good with charity, but I'm not good with just wasting money in general, especially when people ain't even signed up to get no charity. They just coming over and doing what they want to do. Okay. But see, America supports giving money to anybody but black men. So it's nothing personal against any illegal immigrant. The thing is, we got a lot of illegal immigrants that came over and got plenty of money spent on them in the billions when they could have just gave that money to black men and gave us reparations, but they got money to give to people who ain't even supposed to be in the country. Ain't that about nothing? So when you think about it, should I care if America falls? Okay. Should I care? You would give my money to people who broke into the country. Okay. It's like breaking into a house. They broke into the country and you'll give them money, but won't give me money I'm supposed to have as a black man. Ain't that about nothing? Ain't that about nothing? Now, a lot of folks are just anti-black men in general. We have media controlled by the mainstream that pushes ideas to get everybody in this country to hate black men. They're aimed at everybody. I'll say that. Does it work on every single person? Not necessarily, but it's aimed to get everybody to hate black men. Okay? That's part of the goal of mainstream media. Hate them niggas. Okay? They just don't come out and see it like that. But the goal is for everybody to hate them niggas. So when I realize what the goal is, and I see that it works on a vast amount of people, and someone says, well, wouldn't you care if America falls? I'm going to say interesting question, but why would I care? Okay. Well, you may have to deal with a lot of personal issues if America falls. I mean, I deal with personal issues now. I ain't all that worried about it. Okay. I'm not all that worried about it. Real talk. Who they gonna have in charge next? Are they gonna treat me worse than the people who are in charge now? See, that's a real question for me. If somebody were able to take over, would them people treat me as bad as the people who are in charge now? Would it really be that big of a difference to me? Okay. Now, y'all, I put a link in the description. If you went to the link, went to the 14-minute mark, and some of y'all would be very familiar with the Green Gorilla, who is a PhD. Well, he still is PhD. Now, he was a professor. And y'all heard the story about how him being a professor who lost his job because some chick he was dating was salty that she wasn't good enough to be his wife. Okay. Now, you heard how Dr. Tia Johnson spoke about it if you watched the clip. But let's keep it real. What was going on? He dated a young woman, gave her an opportunity. She wasn't good enough to be his wife. Now she mad at him. Okay. And I second this. Shout out to Green Gorilla. Why you mad at him? Because you ain't good enough to be his wife. The man gave you an opportunity. Okay? He gave you an opportunity. And see, this is the thing, y'all. As black men, we'll give people an opportunity and then look how they want to act. Now, let's think about this realistically speaking. Because now she's just an example I pulled up about, some people's sentiment toward black men. And I believe this was a black woman. He gives her a chance to do her thing. She ain't good enough to be a wife. He breaks up with her instead of leading her on. He did the honorable thing. I'm going to break up with you instead of just leading you on. You clearly ain't got what it takes. But instead of lying to you about you ain't got what it takes, instead of just, it, instead of just looking at what the situation is, You wanna get mad at him. And not only do you want to get up mad at him, you want to quote unquote tell on him. Okay? You want to do something to hurt him because you ain't good enough to be his wife. Now, the thing is, could I expect something like that from black women in general? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I would tell every black man to be careful with any information you give a black woman. Truth be told. Okay? If you don't have to let her know where you work, you may not want to tell her. You could tell her, a job position, because they'll try to figure stuff out to figure out how much money you make. I totally get that. You could say I'm an engineer without saying really too much of anything else. You could say, hey, I'm a lawyer. You ain't got to say what law firm you work for, even if it's your own. Okay, you might own law firm. You ain't got to say that. You could be a doctor. Hey, you know what? I'm such and such type of doctor. You ain't got to tell her what hospital you work at or nothing. You ain't got to give everything up right away. And, I think black men need to be, a little relaxed about how quickly you're going to give anybody some information. But at the end of the day, could what happened to Green Gorilla happen to anybody else? Yes, any random woman could call anybody's job and make some type of comment about them. Matter of fact, as I think about it, somebody tried it with me one time. I remember working for a company. I had a supervisor who told me, and it's nutball stuff, y'all. Supervisor said to me, somebody called up to the job. I forget exactly what he told me, but they said something. They said something to try to make it sound real bad, as if it was something bad sexually or whatever going on. And so they was like, okay, we got to take stuff like this serious or whatever, So they said, well, who are you? The person wouldn't even say their name. You trying to report me for something I did to you, but you won't say your name so they can investigate your claim. Now, when the supervisor did eventually address me about the situation, he said, man, you must got an ex-girlfriend or something out there, or somebody messing with this crazy and they mad at you because they tried to report you, but they wouldn't give no information that we could use to even deal with a report. So they just like, yeah, they just call a job and say you did something crazy, but won't say who they are, won't say where they live, won't give any information so the job can investigate and do anything for you. So obviously it was somebody that was being somewhat of a nutball. All right. Now, y'all may say, well, Roger, you messing with crazy people? Look, she obviously got dumped. Why? Probably because she was a nutball. That's consistency, okay? That is consistency. I gave her a chance. She probably turned out to be a nutball. I peeped game on it and probably left her exactly where I found her. Now she mad about it. Hey, is what it is, okay? I ain't worried about it. I ain't worried about it at all. But it was funny how the supervisor that I was working under at that time told me what was going on and how, it was just so ridiculous to him. But he said, you got to be careful with these hoes out here, man. You got to be careful. You got to be more careful, y'all. Now, we still ain't got the 40 acres in the mule. We ain't got any other form of reparations either. Okay? America ain't never apologized for slavery. They good with it. Okay. And people may say, well, no, they apologize. No. The apology come with the check. They ain't send no check out. Okay. The only thing they apologized for was taking white people's property. That's what they apologized for. Hey, here, white folk, we took some property from you. Okay. They were slaves, but you know what? It's property to you. We're going to pay you for your property. They apologized to the slave master. They ain't never apologized to anybody that was a slave because ain't nobody got a check cleared. Okay. I don't know one person who done got a check that cleared. Okay. So no, they ain't never apologized. They might do something to make you think they apologize. But if you apologize, where the check at? Don't tell me sorry, you ain't got no check. So then it makes for interesting dynamics on would a black man care about who's in quote unquote in charge of the country? Because if it ain't black men, what difference would it make? What difference would it really make? You know? Now, as black men, we go through a lot of stuff, and people be mad at us because we go through stuff. Y'all ever notice how people get mad at us because somebody else trying to put us through something? And then they get salty when you fight back. Okay? They get salty when you fight back. You know? People trip. You know? We fought for civil rights. They changed all that up so it wouldn't really help a black man at all. Okay? And there's people who salty that we fought for civil rights. Crazy work when you think about it. Crazy work when you think about it. But it happens. Okay? Now, black women benefited a lot. Well, I ain't going to say a lot, but black women had a good, decent portion of opportunities that opened up for them because black men fought for civil rights. They changed stuff up so to not help black men so much. But black women got some decent benefits out the situation. And you know what they say? Well, we mad at you niggas because y'all ain't just take over. You know, it wasn't no, well, thanks for helping us get something. Wasn't none of that. Well, it's you niggas ain't take over, so it ain't good enough. Okay? You niggas didn't take over, so it ain't good enough. So, you know, do you get any respect for them for doing anything, from accomplishing anything? Generally, no. Okay? Generally, no. You don't. And that just is what it is. So if black women don't respect black men, should we care that the country that these women live in falls? Think about that. Now you got other women that don't like black men either. That puts you in a similar boat. Would I care if their country falls? Not really. Okay. You have men, all types of men who don't like black men. Should I care if their country falls? Why would I? So when you point to a lot of stuff, and you know, if you seriously ask yourself, should you care? If you're a black man, should you care if America falls? I mean, you could come up with some reason to say you care, but I think it's hard to really care that much. I'll say that. It would be hard to care that much. Because at the end of the day, I'm living my life for me. I pretty much know, you know, outside of some relatives, you know, maybe you got a few friends, you ain't really got nobody got your back anyway. Okay. Black men as a collective, when it comes to Americans that are not black men, do we really have anybody else that has our back? No, we don't. So if we not in charge, should we care that much if the people in charge change? When there is no group of people in America who are not black men that collectively even like black men, let alone will want to do anything for black men, let alone will want us to have an even playing field in any kind of scenario. Those groups don't exist in this country. Yes, I'm saying that. There is not a collective of any group of people in this country outside of black men that want black men to even have a fair playing field. Black women don't want us to have a fair playing field. White men don't want us to have a fair playing field. White women don't want us to have a fair playing field. Asian men don't want us to have a fair playing field. Asian women don't, and anyone else you want to name. So I'm making it plain. As a collective, none of them want us to have a fair playing field. And if none of them want us to have a fair playing field, would I care if that country falls? Well, the thing is, you got to look for reason to even care. Okay? If another group of people took over, Is it going to stop me from advancing? Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's got in the way of advancing right now. You know, people say, well, you know what? The country do a lot of stuff, but you can always achieve this and you can always achieve that. Well, yeah, the country ain't set and designed to stop every single person. No. That's not how the country is set up. You got to let a few people through so everybody else will have a hope that they can get just to where the other people got to. And then, I've had personal friends who say, well, has any of this white supremacy stuff actually personally affected you? And oh, yes, yeah. Oh, yeah, me. It has affected me. I've said before, I worked for a company one time, y'all. Came in, worked for a company, they overhired, told us, if you can stay here for 30 days, we'll put you in the union and you pretty much good to go. We hired up more than what we needed, so we're going to fire a bunch of y'all on the 29th day. Now, I'm in this company. I'm out here performing, doing a fantastic job at whatever job they asked me to do. To me, it was a cakewalk. Okay, it was a cakewalk. Every assignment they gave me was a cakewalk. Okay, they didn't give me nothing that felt hard. They gave me nothing that seemed hard. They gave me nothing that I thought was hard. Everything was easy. Okay, every single thing they gave me was easy as pie. And I'm sitting there like, if you're doing this for a career, you ain't really doing nothing. And we making good money. Okay, we making good. And at that time, it was good money. Okay. Now that 29 day came up. And they say, we don't really need your services. We know you perform well, but we don't really need your services. Now, was I shocked that that happened to me, that I got told to leave and don't come back? No, I wasn't shocked, because when I looked at the company, every employee there was either a non-black man, and all the black men that were there, and I'm going to nicely say, was at least about 35 and up. And I'm being nice to say that, because I'm pretty sure they were older than even 35. Okay. And I was about 20 at the time. Anywhere 19, 20-ish, something like that. Maybe 21. I don't even think that my 21st birthday hit. Somewhere along those lines. I don't exactly remember. Hey, I wasn't even at 30 days. It's hard to remember when you don't even work that 30 days. But I did notice there wasn't no young black men there. And the only other black men I ever seen was just two other brothers. And when I asked them when they started when I started. So I couldn't count them as people who was able to stay. And people would say, well, did your race matter? I think that was clear and obvious that my race mattered. I did all types of tasks. I performed them extremely well. Everything was a cakewalk to me. And I couldn't find any black man there that was young. You think my skin had nothing to do with it? I mean, keep dreaming. But let me slow down real quick, because we have our first guest. We got the Great Black Reset in the building. You got the mic, my brother. How you doing?
Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Hear you loud and clear.
Hello? Okay. Okay. I'm on my computer today, so I want to make sure. I want to try to do justice to your stream. I think this is an important topic, so I'm gonna try to be quick. So Chef Mike will get me too quick. Um, the whole white supremacy and should black men care? Couple of points I want to go over. I think for us, there will be economic gains and wealth growth. I think educational access and outcomes will be better for us. I think the criminal justice transformation and reform will be better. I think we will have health improvements. I think we will live longer. Um, uh, I think there'll be a cultural and psychological impact as well, which is what I think white supremacists will be afraid of more than anything. We will gain significant political empowerment. I think more black people will be engrossed in the voting process and in social justice issues in a better way. We would have stronger cross racial relationships, uh, which is another thing they're afraid of. They think they're going to get breeded out. And I think
Hang this number
there'll
now.
be a limit, but not a
And
true end to white supremacy and all the problems. But I think it will go a long way. Now, what would be good, and I'm a land here, is this provides greater safety across the country in our environment. Um, when it comes to white people, this will actually strengthen them because as a country, you're only as strong as your weakest link. And whoever you keep down is going to be your weakest link. So if they allowed us to be who we are, be creative the way that we are, be as inventive as that we truly are, get credit for the things that we invent and we do for this country, the country is going to be better as a whole. And to be honest with you, America itself will have a greater hold than it already does on the world as a whole. And I'll come my plan.
Okay, interesting. Interesting way to go about it. Interesting way to go about it. All right, we have our second guest here. We have the one Kryptonian in the house. You got the mic, my brother. Okay, the one Kryptonian, you're on mute right now.
all right. Happy
There
Friday,
you go.
Roger.
Happy Friday, brother.
Happy Friday to the rest of the panel and the chat. What's up? What's up, that nigga named Kevin?
What's up?
Yeah. So, should Black American men care about America if it falls? I say yes. You should care. Why? Because obviously this is your home country. This is where you feel like you are the most comfortable living in. Since we all know that most Black people in general don't have a passport, so Black people tend to not travel outside of the US like that. So for that alone, yes, you should care. But on the flip side, knowing how you have been treated in this country, all the evil things that they've done to y'all, it makes sense that it, it will create a level of empathy, I mean, apathy for the country. I think many Black men would or have reached the position of Batman when Batman told Ra's al Ghul that I don't have to kill you, but I don't have to save you neither. So I think many Black men have reached a point where it's all about hey, whether or not they can save themselves. No, I'm not gonna say F the country, but I'm going to treat the country as disposable because those who are in power, they also see America as disposable. They see America as a great business venture where they can milk as much money and resources as possible and then dip out. That's how come you see many of those billionaires, they have big businesses in other countries, and then they want to turn around and tell you America first, as they are laying off 80,000 American workers to hire other people who would do cheap labor for them because that's more profitable. So if they see it that way, why shouldn't Black American men behave the same way also? And that's what I got to say. Thank you.
Okay, appreciate it. Appreciate it. Interesting way to go about it as well. Interesting way to go about it. And you know what? Good points. America first, y'all. America first. Now, if I have an attitude that America's first, which I wouldn't have no problem with because I live here. Okay. That means the stuff that we do should be beneficial to Americans before they're beneficial to other people. Now, this is the thing. If we do any deals with anybody outside the country and it's beneficial to Americans, that's great. But do you carve out a space for Black men in that benefit? Because at the end of the day, if you're always trying to do something that doesn't carve out a space for Black men, but you're willing to carve out a space for any other group of people, then what's the point of me being America first? Because if you're always trying to figure out a way to exclude as many of us as possible, now I'm not saying they can exclude us from every single thing, but if you're trying to exclude as many of us as possible, how would America first even keep sounding good to an American who dealing with the fact that they're trying to carve me out every chance they get? That's not going to sound good to me at some point because I'm not benefiting off an American first mindset. Because America first means every American but me. You know, and I'm looking at it from a collective standpoint because you can't keep everything from every black man, but you can always try to keep stuff away from the majority of black men. So yeah, America first don't sound like nothing to me. You might as well be saying Chinese first. You could be saying Irish first. You could be saying, I mean, you could say Ecuador first. Who cares? If you're always trying to carve me out or whatever the America first benefit is. You know? And when I think about the laws of this land, go ahead. Who's that? Is that background noise?
Yeah,
Or
That
what, what
sounds
kind
like
of music?
background noise.
Yeah, that sounds like okay. Yeah. You gotta watch your backgrounds, y'all. Gotta watch your backgrounds. Okay. Now, when I think about laws of this country, now, if you've been here for a while, you should already be aware that when black men are convicted of crimes, we get harsher sentences than other people. Now, y'all may say, well, those are criminals. Should we even care? Now, what about the fact that black men are convicted of crimes they don't even commit? Now you think about that on top of it. We get harsher penalties for crimes, but we also get convicted for crime we didn't even commit. Now, you didn't even commit the crime and you get a harsher penalty. So you was minding your business doing what you're supposed to do. Now all of a sudden you convicted for some crime that carries, 15 to life, but you happen to be a black man. You didn't even do the crime, but now you're risking 15 to life. And they want to go toward life instead of the 15. That's what the desire is. Now let's think about this from a realistic standpoint. Does the judge want you to get closer to life or closer to the 15? Okay. If he's anything other than the black man, 9 times out of 10, they want you closer to life than that 15. And realistically speaking, even black men who've grown up in this country have bought into certain ideas. So even a lot of them would be trained into thinking, well, we need to get you closer to life than that 15. Anybody else who ain't even a black man sitting behind that bench, I got to already accept they want you closer to life than 15. Because they're in this country, which means they're exposed to the same stuff I'm exposed to. I understand that there's all types of messages in mainstream media. People will say, well, there's social media now. See, the issue about social media, the people on social media that already received the messages from mainstream media. So what you think they push? Same thing the mainstream media pushes for the most part. Okay? There's only a small percentage of people that actually push stuff that isn't consistent with mainstream media. That's a very small group of people. And truth be told, they act like most of them people crazy anyway. That don't mean they're crazy. They just don't take the angles that mainstream media take. So if a judge is gonna judge you and you ain't even commit the crime, now you got to get a harsher sentence for the crime you ain't even committed. As a black man, am I supposed to be cool with that? I don't think so. No. Now I'm not tripping about no criminal getting caught. I'm not tripping about no criminal getting sentenced. But even a criminal should get sentenced the same way other people get sentenced. Now that's going too far. That you just going, well, since he a black man, we gonna give him and we gonna give him life rather than the 15. But you're doing it, but everybody else is getting close to that 15. Now that ain't cool, but it happens all the time. Okay, it happens all the time. You know.
America first. Meanwhile, Argentina is running to the back door with $40 billion. Yeah, that's right.
Well, I mean, I'm a black man in America. I've told a story before how I was at the restaurant, and then we got all these illegal immigrants here. Now I'm not gonna say he was 100% illegal immigrant, but I ain't no fool either. Guy comes in the restaurant, don't really speak no English. Younger guy. Now, why is that important? Because even people who came from Spanish-speaking countries, because he was a Spanish speaker, even people who came from Spanish-speaking countries, and I told y'all, I go to homes and businesses. When they say, "Hey, the people don't speak English," I don't ever worry. I've never worried about people telling me people don't speak English. They Spanish speakers. Why? Because I'm gonna get there and I'm gonna talk to a kid. A kid gonna translate for me anyway. Because the kids know English. Them older folk may not know English that well at all, but them kids gonna know English because they growing up here. So I never worried about it. Now I see a young man who can't speak English well, and he pull out a knot. I'm talking about, y'all, he had one of the fattest knots I've seen in a good while. What was he showing me? He was showing me my tax dollars. That's what he was showing. He an illegal immigrant 9 times out of 10, and he's showing me my tax dollars. How am I supposed to feel about that as a black man? Okay, I can't get a pothole fixed, but he's showing me a knot of my tax dollars.
I don't know what that is. It's not me.
No, that's just some bad. We ain't gonna worry about it. Now,
Okay.
I'm gonna say shout out to the real black here. He's saying at the Roger Report Live, black men should leave the U.S. Ninjas aren't going to create nigga law in America. Check. Well, the real black they ain't gonna create it nowhere else either. I mean, there ain't no plot of land on Earth right now that you could just go claim. So anywhere you go, you would have to go into a system that's already in existence, which means you're not gonna create it there either. Because wherever you go, they people gonna come first too. Now, are they gonna necessarily treat you as bad as Americans treat you? Not necessarily, but I don't think we should have any dream that we finna go to anybody's country, small amount or great amount, and we about to be in charge. That's not gonna happen anyway. Because if I live in the country, why would I let you come over and just be in charge? Of course they're gonna challenge you on that. I mean, I can understand what I believe your sentiment is. Maybe I'm wrong about sentiment, but I can understand where the sentiment can be. Well, we can go somewhere else and possibly live a better life. Wherever you go, you're not going to be the primary people. So I don't know. Okay. Now, shout out to Chosen One. He said, "Yeah, we should care. We live here." If somebody else took over, how would that really affect you personally, though? Because you live here now, and the people in charge don't care nothing about you. So if some other group of people took over, they gonna care less about me than people that don't care about me now. That's not even physically possible.
And I would definitely like to thank the strong independent queen, who don't need no black man, for their how many baby deletion, what since the 1960s, what they're like 40 million. Yes, thanks to the black queens for deleting 40 million people who would otherwise exist and give black American men, black people, more political power and relevance. Thank you, Black Queen. We couldn't have done it without y'all.
Well, I mean, if they had those children, would those children help black men gain political power? Because the girls,
Mostly,
what
yeah.
type of girls would they be? Okay, you got to think about that too. And then the boys, well, if they got access to train the boys as they coming up, would those people even be a help to us?
I would like to be optimistic and say yes, it would be useful. Listen to me, you're gonna find it funny, but the current president, the sitting president right now, was running ad campaign in English, but he wasn't eating watermelon and Popeyes with niggas. You should think about that. He had he had presidential ads running in Spanish, but he wasn't eating watermelon with y'all. I mean that
What,
that means that
what,
he kind of skipped over y'all.
what I'm gonna say my viewpoint, because I mean, and don't get me wrong, I understand numbers could be possible. Numbers could possibly affect the situation, but I'm just thinking either the children that never made it, the children that got deleted, the children that got aborted. At the end of the day, how many of those children would have been raised by their fathers? You see,
Not very
I
many.
have to look at that from a realistic standpoint. Numbers do mean something, but even if every single baby was born, how many of them would have actually been raised by their fathers? And that's gonna make a difference
That's a
too.
very
Okay. Now I'm gonna give the floor to
You have
Inspired
a
Truth.
larger population with the same problem.
What? I'm sorry. Say that again, Kevin.
I said we would just have a larger population with the same problem.
Now, my thing is that's a very possible set of circumstances, and I'm gonna say even probable set of circumstances. Okay. But Inspired Truth is here, so let me go ahead and let Inspired Truth get the mic. You got it, my brother.
All right, all right. First off, am I coming in loud and clear?
Yes, you are.
Excellent, excellent. Shout out to you, Rogers. Salute to the chat and salute to the brothers on the panel. So I would agree that we absolutely should care, but we should care in terms of we should prepare. All great empires or all major empires eventually fall. Like it's the same thing as we should care about a recession. It's the same way as we should care about a depression. Those things are cyclical. Those things are going to occur. Those things do happen, but we need to prepare for it, put ourselves in the best possible position to make something out of it whenever it occurs. Like there's always a delta, there's always a change in life, in the world, basically. So that's where I come from on that type of thing. We should not, on the other hand, like put ourselves up there as some sacrificial lamb to try to decline, to try to 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 slow down the fall or soften the fall to make a nice, comfortable space for somebody else. That's something that we should not do, but we should prepare ourselves for whatever comes next.
All right. Another interesting take. Now I'm gonna say a quick shout out to Afro Merchant, y'all. He sent in something through the Cash App as the show was ending yesterday. It just didn't come in time for me to see it before the show ended. But shout out to you. He dropped $20.57. So shout out to you for the Trailbilly tax as well. My main man Afro Merchant. He said hashtag sandwich game. Okay, I don't know why this sandwich thing is taking off the way it is. I'm gonna say shame on all you Negroes. Okay, shame on you Negroes for allowing the sandwich to matter. Okay, shame on you Negroes. But now, real talk, I appreciate it, Afro Merch. Appreciate it big time, my brother. Appreciate it big time. Uh,
Some
now,
some years some years ago, I did a study on the Roman Empire. I don't even know what led me to do it. I think I was interested in what was going on politically at the time. This is like 20 something years ago. And when I did this study, I realized that everything that we do here, the way we set up our Senate and everything, mirrors the Roman Empire. The way
Yep.
that we rose as a country mirrors the Roman Empire. And the reason that we're falling mirrors the Roman Empire. And the Roman Empire started to fall with the beginning of sexual liberation and sexual freedom for their women. Women got out of control and the empire fell because there was nobody to nurture the children and raise the children when they were young to go in the right direction. And then after that, it was over. We're going in, this country's going in the same direction. And Inspired Truth says something very valuable. As a community, if we can separate ourselves from the fall of it, just the best of us can separate ourselves from the fall of it, we can go in the right direction and be in a position to put ourselves in greater political power.
And then there's a lot of emerging markets throughout the world, like different countries that are projected to end up tripling their GDP or in some way greatly increasing their GDP. The people that get on the ground floor are going to make out like bandits when the dust settles and when it all is said and done. So if we can find some sort of way to get in on the action, diversify our assets, it'll be a productive thing.
And I'm gonna say now, and also when it comes to empires falling, Romans is also famous, but the Roman Empire is also famous for overstretching themselves, trying to have world control, which led to them falling as well. Okay, I'm gonna say America does seem to be doing somewhat of the same thing in that regard.
Over 900 military bases all around the world.
Yeah.
Thank you very
So,
much. Your tax dollars at work, by the way.
so
True.
to me, it's not such a crazy ideal if America falls. The question is, for me, is just, should I really care? Is if someone else is able to take over, is it really gonna bother me? The people in charge don't like me now. Let's say the people, because this is what people always say. Well, what about the people who take over? They may not like you either. Wait a minute, either? See, when you say either, where am I losing?
Okay.
You got some people in charge that don't like me now, and then the other people in charge, they don't like me either. Where did I lose?
Roger. Let me ask you something. So, are you saying that you don't mind exchanging white supremacy for Chinese supremacy? Oops, bad.
What I am saying is, when it all comes down to it, if I'm not in charge and the people in charge don't like me, and the new people who could be in charge later in the future don't like me, I don't see how my position changed.
All right. So essentially, it will be a situation where it could potentially be the old boss is gone. Welcome to the new. Welcome the new boss who's the same thing as the old boss.
It's the thing is, it's just like this. This is how I see it. You ever work for a company that got bought out by another company? I came to work. I was doing one thing because this one particular company was in charge, and then another company bought that company, and my job description didn't change at all.
What's your job description, Roger?
You see what I'm saying?
What's your job description? I'm gonna tell you what your job description is. Deal a nigga.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, what I'm saying is I could be working for this particular company. This other company done took over. My job description didn't change at all. Who do I care? Am I gonna look at whose name is on the check? The issue is that the check cleared. If the check cleared, why do I care who signed it? Because that's gonna be the difference with me. If my job description don't change, the only thing is somebody else signed the check. I ain't worried about that. And I'm just being realistic, you know. But we do have somebody up who I think is good around here, but I just got to make sure. We have Black American. I believe I know who this is, but just got to be sure. Go ahead, Black American. You got the mic.
Hey Roger, happy Friday. How you doing? Happy Friday to the
Okay.
panel and everything else.
How you
And
doing, brother? I thought that was you.
I'm doing, yeah, well, thank you. I use this photos because Black people have built this country, but we've also what we have done. We have preserved it. We have fought for it on behalf of white folks, and I believe we should care that we should care as Black men in preserving, in keeping this America safe and sound and everything else for because what we have done, for generations, despite tremendous obstacles and everything from slavery, Jim Crow, lynching, and everything else, redlining. But we're a special people, as Dr. Claude Anderson said, and we're a special people because of what we have done and everything. And I think the thing that we have to be a little mindful is that there are new immigrants that are coming here in the United States and everything else. We welcome them, but we don't become a buffer zone for them and everything else. Because unfortunately, when some of them new people come in, they take the side usually of white supremacists. Not all of them, but some of them, who are of lighter hues, skin, and everything else, maybe their hair is straightened and all that, they normally take the side of white supremacy and everything else, and basically just kind of crap on us. So that's why there's a lot of us black folks who are like saying, you know what, forget you all, you're on your own. If Donald Trump and ICE start coming after you, oh well, you know, because you've been picking on us and everything else and siding with white supremacists, the very same people who've also done that to you outside the United States when it comes to international affairs, when it comes to invasions um, in South Asia, like in Vietnam, the Korean War, and everything else, the Philippines, and then the Spanish American War, etc. Why would you want to go ahead and side with with the United States that with white supremacists and everything? So that's why today I got this picture of Black American Civil War soldiers from Massachusetts and everything else. We should care because we've done everything we could to preserve America. We built it, and we're even indigenous to this nation. So I'm gonna land my plane here.
I kind of think about and wonder about what the next structures will be like. Will we end up with non-compete? Will we have non-compete contracts still? Will we have the ownership of our inventions and innovations, or will companies own it? Like these are kind of like some things that I think about when I think about like structures.
All right, now we
Platinum
gotta get
too.
Gold P in too, y'all. We got Gold P done slid up too, so we gotta let him get in. And let me say
Hey,
right
we
now,
were having a good show.
we was too, we was. But let me say, shout out to Emerald Edge who just said something about the likes, and maybe Gold People's gonna do the same thing. But y'all got to get the likes up, okay? I give y'all the best show on social media. Now, if you're new here, just be happy you're here. Subscribe to the channel and do your thing. But I give you the best show on social media, so the least you can do is hit that like button when you're here. Y'all can hype me up. You know what I'm saying? Do that stuff, okay? Do the little stuff, y'all. Do the little stuff. We doing the big stuff. Y'all do the little stuff. But Gold P, you got the mic, my brother.
Good early to everyone. I'd like to thank you for your time. I'm trying to do my Chef Mike voice.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good, actually.
That's a decent Chef Mike. It's decent.
Let me get on the great reset real quick. I'm gonna utilize. Was that the great reset? Yeah, it was him. Let me get on him just for a hot second. Via the Roger Report. It is still a great show when I come up here. Just so you know. I don't know why y'all come in hot when I come in here. I wanted to utilize that first minute instead of saying hit that like button, support the Roger Report. I have to address it because there's always somebody who want to, come in hot and expect not to receive return fire. You feel talking? Listen, background noise and all that. You see that? That's what I get, man. But okay, now that I addressed the situation, my other minute, I will yield it to. You see what I'm saying?
That is my son.
I'll yield it to my guy Inspired Truth, because he's the only one who really makes sense up here. Look, Kevin says cut his mic. Cut his mic. Inspired Truth, you got the mic, brother. I yield my time to Inspired Truth.
Thank you, brother. I'm just
Well,
gonna harken back on what I was saying before, like pay attention to the systems and the structures and what ends up happening next when we go and we have these changes, when we have another group that comes over. We want to make sure that we understand everything we can to put ourselves in the best positions possible.
okay. Now I'm gonna say, now when it comes to governments changing though, that could be a huge deal for a lot of people. Okay, especially depending upon what you've been able to accumulate in life. All right. Now, now someone said earlier it may be like something like going through a recession or or a depression. I'm gonna say my personal viewpoint is I've never had one. I've never been through a recession. I've never been through a depression. And maybe when you start where you start, you know, to say the word depression means like it got worse. Okay, I'll you know, when you think about depression, that means you're in a certain situation financially, and then it got worse. Or to say recession, same thing. You know, you're in a certain financial situation and it got worse. I ain't never been through. Okay, yeah, I was here when they quote unquote happened. Sure, I've been through. Well, we ain't been through no quote unquote depression in America since I've been alive, but we have been through recessions. I couldn't tell. So did make me no difference. Now, if the country changes over, yeah, that could do something where I'm going to actually feel it at that particular time. But I don't think it would be that bad. I don't think it would be that bad. Not for me. Okay. I don't think it would be that bad. And that now keep in mind, y'all, based on my personal viewpoint, I ain't never been through a recession. And then I remember my father, I think he was jokingly telling me that you have a what he said, you having a recession when your friends lose their job, and you in a depression when you lose your job. So when it comes to recession and depression, that's kind of my viewpoint on it. So I ain't never really felt like, and this I actually mean feel. I ain't never felt like I've been through one, because every year I seem to do a little bit better, and as long as I keep doing that, I'm okay with that. Okay, I'm okay with that. Now, of course, I want it better than it has been. If the country changes over, would that put me in a state that I haven't been in previously? I don't know. I don't really think I'll be that depressed where it may not. It could be so terrible that I'm not in the same spot I already was. Because y'all, I ain't come for money, so I didn't have the luxury of living this rich child. I ain't had that luxury. Shout out to the people who did, but it wasn't mine. But I'm gonna stop here because Black Uru done came up, so I'm gonna go ahead and give him the mic. Black Uru, you got it, my brother.
Hey, Roger. Thanks for having me. I hope you and the gentlemen on the panel are doing well. This is a very provocative topic you present.
Black Uru, may I say one thing real quick? One thing real quick. And I hate to disrupt somebody's opening statement, but I want to address this real quick. Mog Benek said, your father gave me piss poor, inaccurate information. I'm going to say you could feel that way, but you're wrong. Because guess what? He told me I'm going through a depression when I lose my job. I've lost a job before. He was correct. He said I went through a recession when my friends lose their job. My friends ain't never lost their job like that. I ain't never been through a recession. So he was 100% correct. He was talking about me personally. And when I lost a job, for a moment, I did go through a depression because my funds wasn't right. And my father gave me some more advice. He said, son, if won't nobody give you a job, give yourself one. I did that. He was right. So I understand. And I know this is just you because you say little stuff in the chat. I know you just trying to take a personal shot at my father, but he was 100% correct. Real talk. And if your father would have gave you similar advice, you might feel a little bit different about the advice my father gave me. I'm sorry about that, Black Hole. Go ahead, my brother. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for having me. Um, I I have a lot of mixed views about um, this topic. I kind of see it in from two perspectives. I see it from the perspective of just a citizen, you know, uh, husband, father, uh, whatever. And obviously, I'm most concerned about stability and survivability, I guess, of myself and my wife and children and other people I love, presumably to the extent that the country remains somewhat stable. Uh, Presumably, that increases the probability, I guess, that we'll be able to live safely. Although it's starting to change as to what that will be. You know, I'm looking when, for example, you look at the ICE thing. The ICE thing is interesting. It is they're going after these people who supposedly are illegally here or whatever. It was initially presented as we're going after those with criminal background, and now and then it kind of morphed into people who had questionable status, but then they can basically kind of approach anyone who, for whatever reason, I guess, and question their status and harass and potentially brutalize them or worse, and extradite them out of the country. And I kind of see that as a precedent that's being crossed, that I I foresee that kind of mentality being transferred into other areas. So I'm having growing suspicion about how comfortable we'll be able to live here in this country when what we thought were the rules uh, are very quickly no longer applying quite the same way as we presume them to be. And I foresee that kind of thing ratcheting up. But so I have a general kind of survivability question or concern where I would be inclined to I guess root for America. The other
I have a
side of
question.
me
Oh, go ahead.
kind of want the other side of me kind of want America to drop into the pit of hell. The other side of me thinks that this country it was built on a lie, a terrible lie, or a lot of lies. But the main one being this whole notion of freedom, while human beings were being enslaved and raped and sold. And so because of that, I just think built within it is a debt, an obligation that can never be repaid, or there will never even be any real serious attempt at repaying it. So if I look at America as an entity, it deserves to die as an entity into itself. It deserves to meet its demise. But obviously, not viewing it from the perspective of I'm not from that position. I'm not viewing it from the perspective of someone who would go down with the ship as well. So that's why I say I'm of two minds on this issue. But what was your question or comment inspired?
Oh, okay. I had a clarifying question. I was wondering if you see this as more or less like a wounded animal or dying animal's last gasp. When you when you have something like that occur, they're the most dangerous on the way out while they're checking out. I was wondering if you see it that way, or if you see this as just a continuum where it's just gonna be kind of more of the same, but with the mask actually off.
Well, I mean, we have a history of these people, right? And for most of its history has not been particularly good. I mean, You know, it's really been only since maybe the advent of civil rights movement, maybe the civil rights legislation, a few other things that have happened after that, where we're kind of all living the creature comforts of things that other people had to fight and bleed and die for. You know, Dr. King and all those guys never got to live any of what they gave their lives for. So we're kind of from a historical standpoint, we're kind of living in a facade because we're living in the lie that belies the truth of this country for most of its history. And so while we may be comfortable uh, with where we are and whatever we think we have right now, it doesn't really represent what this country really has been for most of its history, especially for and from the perspective of Black people. And so you younger men, especially those who maybe don't have families, so you're in a good position, I think, to really reconsider your position in this country and in this world. I would recommend that learn several of the main languages, uh, that you become much more judicious about your diet and more, what can I comfortably live on? Are there one or two meals, for example, that I could eat virtually every day? Um, I think you're going to have to develop a kind of, I think it would be to your benefit to develop a kind of Spartan, quote, so to speak, this approach to life going forward so that whatever change happens, you have fewer parts to have to take along with you in whatever journey you have to undertake.
I'm going to try to
Well
make the.
said.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
well
definitely
said.
well said.
Well said. That's something I've been thinking about. While you were talking, I was thinking about our position right now. I mean, I'm not going to tell you my exact age, but I'm in my 50s and everything else. I still got time and everything else, but we're at this situation where right now that where we are in this current situation, there's a lot of uncertainty because you don't know what this president's going to do. Is he going to all of a sudden just launch a nuclear missile or not? Is he just going to just lay back and just watch chaos erupt and everything else? Is he just going to let his people, meaning white folks who voted for him and everything else, he just going to let them starve and everything else to the point that many of these white folks are going to be like begging, on the streets, asking for handouts from us because I mean, you're already seeing their expression right now on these YouTube channels talking about how some of them are regretting, voting for him again. They're burning his hats and everything else. But, you know, they were hoping that he was your last Messiah, but he isn't, unfortunately.
Well, I think that maybe this is kind of harkening back to what I was saying earlier with the mask off is we've kind of been living under
Come
a
on.
superficial civility rather than actually dealing with what the thing actually
Yes.
really is, in
Which
my
one?
opinion. And I'm kind of glad that we have
Yes.
Uru up on the panel because he can he can expand on some of the potential upshots and opportunities of having a transitioning culture. Like over in the East, like they're a little bit deficient on the safety culture. And then over here, we're kind of a little bit pro scam culture. So I'm interested in how that transition is going to play out in the future. But that's just kind of something in the back of my mind.
Now, and I'm gonna say this. As you grow up, you pay attention to things. In the air. For a long while now. And I'm not saying it's not going to happen. It very much could happen, but I'm not gonna say it's definitely gonna happen. In my particular lifetime, will we have an economic collapse? That's very possible. Okay, based on certain measures that you can look at. We could have an economic collapse in my lifetime. Now, the government already told me through a letter they sent me long time ago, decades ago at this point, they told me, I'm just a young man. I read the letter. It said, hey, we at the Social Security Board, we get more money than what we spending right now. Everything's cool. It said at some point in time, because of populations, we expect to be paying out more than what we collected. But it's all right. We're going to play with this money. Now, they ain't said it in these words, but this is what they said. We're going to play with this extra money we got because we getting these surpluses right now. We're going to play with this money. We're going to try to make some money with this money. If everything we try works out, truth be told, before you even old enough to start your Social Security, we don't know what we gonna do at that point. If everything we plan plays out and works out, we don't expect to have money for you regardless. So they told me decades ago, don't worry about no Social Security because it probably won't exist when it's time for you to get it. And I did my little calculations of the years and whatnot. Basically, I would be around maybe 61, 62, somewhere right between 60 and 62. If everything worked out, they still would have nothing for me at that particular time. So the government already told me that.
The nastiest part about Social Security from the perspective of Black men is that, the life expectancy of a Black American man is somewhere around 68 years old, which means that, typically that man, if a brother does collect Social Security, he's only going to collect it for 3 years tops. So meanwhile, white women live to be close to 80 years old. So what does that mean? You're basically paying in the fund
Like our
for
Social
white
Security.
women. You're basically paying in the fund for other people to, because of our demise occurs much earlier. As a collective, we're essentially paying for the comfortable retirements of other people. That's the evil of America. And that's where I go back to when I was saying I'm kind of two minds about America, where in the second mind, this thing should burn in hell because it's a pyramid scheme. And Black men have always been at the base of that pyramid. And everybody higher up the pyramid collects from the people at the base. So, and because I don't really see that changing a great deal. I mean, I guess it will. Maybe if there's a fall, there would be so much disruption to everything that it's like, you climb. What was it? Chaos is a ladder. That famous line in Game of Thrones by what's the name? Littlefinger, I believe that was his name. For the Game of Thrones fans know what I'm referring to. That great line, chaos is a ladder, which basically means as things are falling apart, that's the time to rise. Maybe that would be a thing during the fall. I'm suspicious of how that plays out, but perhaps I mean I guess if there is a fall, that's what you should root for as a Black man, to find a ladder during the chaos.
And my thing is, y'all, is my job description gonna change? I'm talking about this quote unquote job of America. America don't like me. They see me at the bottom. They're gonna do everything they can to keep me at the bottom. Somebody else could come in, be in charge, and they may want me at the bottom too. Are they gonna go through the efforts to keep me at the bottom as a Black man? They could go through the same efforts that the other folks did, but there's a chance they're not gonna put in that much work to go through that type of effort because America would kill itself at black men's expense. That's what America has proven. You know, we will destroy ourselves as long as we can keep those niggas down. As long as I can keep a foot on the nigga neck, we'll mess our own opportunities up. So if someone else were to take charge, is it really gonna make a difference for me? And I just see it as a hard, even imaginary viewpoint that my situation will get worse as a black man. And I'm saying even from the collective of black men, is our situation really gonna change? Can you hate us more than these people in charge already do?
Well, like during the Great Recession, kind of like
I have a
piggybacking
question.
off of what Black Lou said, like during the Great Recession, Citibank went down to $1. $1. What is it right now? Does anybody happen to know?
No, we probably want to Google that. ChatGPT or something.
You talking about the city rate? I'll look it up real quick.
All right.
But I
I
have
know
a
it's
question in
way
the
more than a
meantime while
dollar.
I'm looking that up. Is
Roger, can you hear me?
Citibank?
Yeah. Well, go ahead, turn around while he's looking that up. Go ahead with your statement.
Roger, I'm in Thailand right now with my wife. Last night I was in the dark room with 3 women, and what was tugging on me, it wasn't my wife. two Thailand girls and a Colombian in the room with me. So if should I just keep staying out here and not come back? Y'all let me know. Give me this. I turned this on and I'm saying, wait a minute, what's going on? Do I need to stay out here? It was good last night. We came back to the hotel, nice, relaxed.
So
They
basically,
were
what you
rubbing
say?
and pushing and tugging stuff.
So if America falls, you just gonna stay where you?
Yeah, America falls. I'm stay where I'm at. I got my Columbia over here, and I got some Thai ladies rubbing on me, so I'm good. Money stretching long, so I just gotta learn the language. That's the only problem. I can learn all this Spanish. I
You got a
got
best
to learn some
plan.
Thai.
Well, I guess he's prepared, y'all. I guess he's prepared. Black
Solo
men
runner is
gotta
a forward-thinking
prepare.
man.
Black men need to prepare, y'all. I guess he's prepared. Real talk, okay?
$98.04.
All right, so we went from $1 to $98.04.
Imagine if we
Yes.
invested in that back then. My God, we would have a lot of money. I wanted to do that. I didn't have the money at the time, no capital. But like if we had, because we're like a people basically like that have like 1/8 or 1/9 of what the rest of well, what the other people, those other folk have. So if this is like what I'm talking about in terms of preparing yourself when there's a decline. When there's a decline, there's an opportunity. And that Game of Thrones reference is like one of my favorite. Chaos isn't a pit, it's a ladder.
Hey, if you use anything right, it can definitely be a benefit to you. And there are plenty of people who make money on disasters. We look at disasters and say, our heart goes out for people who lost their lives and things like that. But disasters create a lot of money for the right people in the right position. Now we have Usual Business has come up, so I'm gonna go ahead and give him the mic. You got it, my brother.
All right, how you doing to the panel and to Roger and to everybody that's in the chat?
What's good, my brother?
What's up? How y'all doing, man? Right now I'm about to go to Colombia right now, and then I'm about to be in Bogota for about 2 weeks, and then I'm gonna come back. Right. The reality is, man, the
They're my country.
Hey, motherfuckers, it's our country now, nigga. It's our country. Right. But oh shit. Well, what I'm about to say. Oh, the thing is, the opportunity to quote unquote to make your money is there, man. Like how I look at this, if your parents would have invested in different countries, let's say back in the day, let's say in the 1980s or 1970s, they would have invested in let's say Brazil now, where would they be at? if they would have invested their money in South Africa or China, where would they be at right now? You exactly right. See what I'm saying? The problem is, I think we as not only as black men, but also as black men, we need to open our eyes to the possibility that can be, the possibilities that can be, right? The possibility that people will actually believe that the white supremacy was going to quote unquote fade. Some people didn't believe it. I believed it then, but not everybody believed it. But now they're seeing that the reality. Now they're scrambling to move now. For me, the person who's been in quote unquote the in the mix for a long period of time, I already got my little place out there in Columbia. I got my apartment. I'm doing all right. You know what I mean? So I really think we need to really start at this point moving away from the American standard into quote unquote the globalist standard, or the where we want to see ourselves standard, because eventually this thing will quote unquote like all empires do die and they do fade. The question is, do you want to die with it? And I'm just gonna leave it at that. Thank you.
One quick question for you. Like, I remember hearing about like some crazy investment opportunity in like Uganda, but it was like something that was like normal, like almost like a mutual fund or something.
Bro, it's so much stuff out
Oh,
here I've been trying to get folk to do, bro. Negroes do not want to invest, and it's a two-part thing. I'm saying it like that. It's a two-part thing. The part is, it's hard to find people who really to put their money where their mouth is. Like, okay, where your $1,000? I got my $1,000, right? When it's that time that everybody start fading away. And then the second part is, you got to be careful who you giving your money to, especially if you're talking about Uganda, bro, because them folk real, the scam is real out there. But Uganda is a beautiful place. Opportunity-wise, I would say it's the most financially easiest place to quote unquote get down there on the ground level. On the ground level, you can get there. You just need the proper what's the word? A proper guy, like O'Shea. When I was down there, I was trying to do it, but that's a lot of time and money. But yeah, it's plenty of opportunities, bro. Plenty of opportunities, bro.
Another place that's good, for that I'm hearing a lot of black folks are starting to go to. I'm hearing a lot of them starting to go to places like Costa Rica and South Africa. A lot of them are starting to go to South Africa and
that's the place to be, though, bro.
Yeah, and retiring in places like in Cape Town and everything else, so it's pretty expensive. But I mean, I'd be very careful about going to places like no offense to Uganda and people in Ghana. I mean, I would love to go with places like Ghana, but damn, got to be careful with the scamming and everything else. And you want to buy some land, but there's going to be a lot of challenges and everything else because of tribal issues and with the government basically trying to scam you off for some more money. So that's the thing that just has me just questioning whether I want to go ahead and do that.
I want to say something. I want to say something about that, and I don't want it to sound like I'm attacking anybody. We got to stop with the propaganda. We got to stop believing the propaganda. We need to send brothers out like this brother here and have boots on the ground so that they can report back directly and say, "Hey, this is what this is. This is what it isn't." We shouldn't even be repeating warnings about about stuff that we're just hearing and we don't know anybody that's there. Like that's what's keeping us from expanding out because we believe the propaganda all the time.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Because if you accept propaganda, when I was a little kid, Africa was this extremely poor place where flies was on the kids, and everybody was starving. You know what I'm saying? So that's what propaganda told us. That's not how it is in real life. So I'm gonna support that point. And now that we are living in a world where there is an internet, take your word from the people who actually been there, that you can have some level of trust of their accounts. Because I'm gonna say ever since 9/11, I had to accept the news a lot of me too. Okay, I'm just leaving it at that. I ain't gonna say too much. I'm just gonna say I had to accept the news will lie to me too.
I just want to say this real quick. My bad. It's a small thing. Like if you got money, I'm gonna say if you can got at least $1,000 you can put together in your pocket. You can save $1,000. You can literally go to Ghana right now. Ghana right now and buy gold necessarily and turn that into jewelry. Now, granted, I don't know how much go you can. I don't know how many bouillons you gonna walk away with, but you can go there with $1,000, and the government is now officially has control of their minds. And you know what I'm saying, right? So you can go there and buy straight gold from them, take that back to the United States and make money. The reality is, a lot of folk is just too stupid, and they already too stuck in their ways to make that money. They have already accepted they position in white supremacy, and they just trying to find a better life in it. I'm not one of them people. Repeat this. I'm not one of them people. So at the end of the day, bro, if you got $1,000, you can go to Africa right now and go buy some gold and start your own business.
All right. Now I'm gonna say shout out to Gregory Scotland. He says, "Can black men work with black women?"
No.
Excuse me. No. Excuse me. Let me say it better. Can black men work with black women when many don't understand the market or finances? Now I'm gonna say this. I don't think it would be the market stopping them. I don't think it would be finances stopping them. When you bring up the issue of can black men work with black women, see, that depends on the perspective. Yeah, we could. Would black women be willing to work with us? And the answer, I'm going to say, the vast majority of the answer is no. When I see men who want to start businesses and they happen to be with some woman and that guy happens to be black, the women are very much anti him starting a business. I'm not going to even tell you that black women are anti-business, but the ones who are actually in a couple, whether it be married or not married, I see black women acting the way that they're very anti my man starting a business when he black.
I don't play no words with like everybody says like kind with the shit. I don't deal with white supremacists, bro. Negro, I don't play this game with you. I don't know Gregory Scotland. Your name is Scotland. I'm not gonna take you seriously, but right. The reality is, bro, I don't deal with white supremacists on my real life. I don't talk to white. You don't see me out there with the Klan, bro. You will never see me out there having a full conversation with the Klan. You'll never see me having a full conversation with a black American woman, bro. By that, so the same definition, they on the same team, regardless of how you want to say it. So I did look at them and I put them accordingly. If you want to be on team white supremacy, we ain't got nothing to talk about other than you, quote unquote, serving me or your death or my death. That's the only conversation we can really have a conversation about. Those three things. If it's not one of those three things, that's it. We got a conversation. It is what it is.
So you don't rock with KK Keisha.
KK Keisha,
well,
exactly, bro.
Yeah, for those who don't get, he's literally saying black women are white supremacists, which is something that just happens to be true in the most part. And a lot of people haven't necessarily heard that, but it is what it is. Okay. Now, the thing is, black women are not a stupid group of women. You know, they're not a stupid group of women. Markets and finances is one thing, but you see very different results when they happen to be with a black man. You see him with a white guy, they're going to encourage that man to start a business if he don't already have one. And they're going to support his business. They're going to talk about how great his business is and do everything they can to help him along the way with his business. It's just that when you replace the white guy for a black man, you get a total different thing for the most part. And, you know, I would say if I put all my memories together, like if I ran it as a bunch of different clips in the video, if I put my different memories together, when I seen a black man talk to his black woman about starting a business, you probably cry at the end of the reel when you seen how many issues black women would bring up about a black man starting a business. Business is cool, and that's a nigga in charge. That's how they look at it. You know, and I'm gonna say, for people who don't believe that, just think about the business world now. Do black women support black-owned businesses when they're owned by men? Because a lot of people say, well, black women will support each other. If they find out the business is owned by a man, do black women generally want to support that business? Because I don't think you see that in society.
I ain't seen it.
You know, and to me, this leads to more reason of why would the average black man really care if the country fail? You know, and I want to speak about that clip where we had the unfortunate issue where Green Gorilla was accused. Now, did y'all hear what Dr. Hassan Johnson said about that? No police report, no evidence. He's a professor. They didn't even ask for it. Okay. So basically, a random woman could call and say he did something against the law to me from a sexual standpoint, and his employer doesn't even care to even see a police report about it. That
Sounds
ain't
like
even
Jim
saying
Crow.
something. What sound like what?
Sounds like Jim Crow.
Yeah, and this is the thing, y'all. A police report don't make nothing real, but the fact that the employer doesn't even want to see the police report, didn't even ask for a police report. Now, is that the America the rest of us live in? I'm gonna say yeah. I remember losing a job one time. They put something on my arrest record. It was around the time that I told y'all I was talking sports to one guy, and then I ended up getting arrested because I happened to be talking sports with some guy who was wanted for a robbery. I wasn't convicted of nothing just because. No matter of fact, it wasn't even that. It was that per se, because when I told y'all I went to see a judge about that, and I ended up being forced to plead guilty to a misdemeanor. The judge wouldn't even give me a lawyer. It was when I just got a job. I was like, man, I start my job in 2 weeks. I ain't got no money right now. He was on some, no, we gonna make you pay for a lawyer, and then assign a prosecuting attorney to help me with my case. She's a prosecuting attorney, but she gonna help me. And she took my last little $50 at the time just to make me plead guilty to something I didn't even do. And then I lost the job because of that. Now, that's operating in white supremacy, point blank, period. You know what I'm saying? I'm a young man at the time. All I did was talk to some random guy about sports. He happened to be wanted for a crime, and I just happened to be there. That didn't mean I wasn't with him when the crime was committed. What I got to do with this? And how I get arrested in the first place? Because the white cop was operating in white supremacy. When I told dude to shut up because cops surrounded him, but they surrounded me because we happened to be talking. And once I found that it ain't got nothing to do with me, I say, dude, stop getting upset. We don't even know what this is about. But of course, he obviously knew. So that every single step, white supremacy was present. And then I end up losing a job opportunity because now I got a disorderly conduct on my record when somebody finna give me a job.
Yeah,
Why would I care if this country fall?
When brothers were accused of things in the 1920s in the Deep South, heck, even after that, like there wasn't a whole lot of demand for, we got to see this evidence. Let's see what this court says. Let's try to kind of get down to the bottom of it. Like, nah, it was mob rule.
Yeah, and my thing is to be as an accomplished as a professor. I mean, how many people got PhDs out there? I don't remember exactly, but that's a very, very low percentage. So not that many people get a PhD. And to lose a job as a professor, and you done went through all that trouble to get a PhD, and now you kind of quote unquote get ruined in the field over somebody just making an accusation. I mean, come on, man. Like, it's hard to look at stuff like that and then say, yeah, I want this country to keep on surviving. I'm not going to pray for its downfall because I do live here. But do I care if it really survives? And I'm looking at this as like a job, and the job just changed ownership. Well, is my job description really going to change? Because if it ain't, what do I care?
Check this out, like the essence of your life is your time. When somebody goes and they threaten your time, like massive amounts of your time, all of that effort that you put into something over all of those years of academia, they're really threatening your life.
You don't know. Okay, I recently just saw that probably like 30 minutes ago. And that's when I clicked on the live because about Green Gorilla. I don't know if y'all can hear me or not, but
we hear you.
But to me, that's attack upon your very life essence, and necessarily how I view that. That's what's it? An existential? How do you say that? Existential fight. How do you say that?
Yeah,
What's the word to use?
Existential threat.
Existential threat. My bad. I'm sorry. That is an existential threat necessary to your very survival. And once a person does something like that, to me, at that point, we gotta fight to the quote unquote to the to the death. How we say that, right? I don't know if that's the correct term we can use that word, but that's a fight to the death. And at that point, baby girl, or anybody, everything's on the table at that point. Everything, because what did they say about what did they say? Everything's fair in love and in war, bro.
Well, to me, those are dangerous sentiments, because I did think about that too. And my thing was, what would I want to do to a woman who did that to me? If I was in his position, how would I want to respond to a woman who did something like that to me? And I couldn't think of one decent response. I couldn't think of one. Every response, she would be in a whole lot of trouble. That's all. She would be a whole lot. How do you deal with something like that? Well, you tried to stop my livelihood, I would want to stop yours. And to me, that's a natural thing to want to do. So how could I take care of her in any real way? I don't think there's nothing legally I would want to handle with that situation. I think everything I would want to do to her would be illegal at this point, and that's just being real. Now, I'm not saying I would do it, but I don't see a desire to do anything that would be legal at that particular point. I done worked that hard to get a PhD. Ain't that many people got them, and you're going to ruin my career? Not just my job. You messing up my career, so I can't just go somewhere else. Nah, I will need something some retribution or something. Something's going to have to happen at the end of the day. And this is all because you got mad that you wasn't good enough to be my wife? Because that's how I'm looking at it. That's a heck of a thing to do to a person when you fail to be good enough to be their wife.
I don't know, but you got to remember, white supremacy always breaks their tools at the end necessarily. So KK Keisha saw that he was going someplace, and quote unquote, she couldn't ride him like a mule ox, right? So in the laws of white supremacy, instead of letting that ox run free in the wilderness, I gotta shoot you so can't nobody else get can have access to you. So if you understand the quote unquote the laws of white supremacy, then everything makes quite sense at that point. But
yeah. But I'm also looking at the fact that the institution itself supported, because it don't happen without institutional support. Because they didn't even want to talk.
You know what?
Go ahead.
Obviously, they wanted to get rid of him for whatever reasons, and she was a convenient tool for them to use. That's why they were so, and whatever sort of usually those positions or opportunities for those positions come with certain stated ethics and morality clauses and requirements. And if there was a state institution that, then if there's certain state criteria that backs that. So it was an easy thing for them to do. It probably was what the chairperson or whatever committee over the department he was in, they wanted to get rid of him. Maybe they weren't very comfortable with having a black and pretty strong-minded black man being a philosophy professor. I mean, talking about the ability to mold minds. So they probably wanted to get rid of him, and they used that incident to do so. That was also, I think, maybe during the time of Obama's presidency when that happened to Green Gorilla. And Obama, his people, the women, they were on that dear colleague bullshit, where if there's any sort of so-called offense in the universities against females, so to speak, the schools were greatly encouraged to use extreme prejudice in the persecution against the alleged male offenders. So that was the worst time for a Green Gorilla to be in the position that he dealing with that particular woman in that situation. It was the school and the politics around what was going on in the federal government at that time that I'm sure assured his destruction.
Now, I can agree that they probably wanted him gone anyway. That makes all the sense in the world to me. It's a shame that you deal with a woman and she just throw it in their lap. So they probably was actively looking for a reason to get rid of him at that particular time. And then she just throws it in their lap. Oh, you want to get rid of him? Here's the football. Run that touchdown. I got you. Don't even worry about it.
Depending on where you work, depending on who your employer is, particularly. Now it's different with Trump, because Trump has kind of backed off a lot of the enforcement of certain social stuff, particularly regarding race. And I guess men, I don't know. So it may be different now, but depending on who you work for, I mean, look, all of us are, I would say, two motivated women away from having our lives being ruined. All of us are. And the higher you go in terms of your social economic status, the easier it is for you to get taken out. Especially if you're anywhere near government, anywhere near politics, any sort of high profile business position, like the incident with the guy who got caught with the HR VP at the concert. We're all two women away who have the same story, we're two women away telling the same damn story from losing everything. All of us are.
Okay.
Agree.
All right.
Michael,
Now,
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Is there a fundamental difference between the fall of America and the fall of white supremacy, or are they so intertwined that they might as well essentially be the same?
Sadly, bro, there is a difference, but like you said, it's so woven into it, bro. Like literally, I think I heard Roger say something saying, hating a black man is American as American apple pie.
Absolutely, ain't nothing more American than that.
So when you understand that, for me, that's why I really don't care. Like people be like, "Oh man, if U.S. happens." At the end of the day, like, hey, bro, I'm gonna apply this. My people been struggling for, I don't know what, 500 years plus and counting. So if I got to struggle and everybody else got to struggle, then shit, it is what it is. If the Chinese got to struggle, then shit, it is what it is. If got the continental African got the quote unquote struggle, then it is what it is, right? If the Europeans or the Western Europeans or the Russian got to suffer, it is what it is. Because when we was suffering, everybody looked the other way and said, "Can I get my cotton for 10 cents on the dollar?" They took they 10 cents on the dollar, bro. Can I get my gold or whatever? Can I get whatever my product I get? Can I get it 40 cents or $1 cheaper or whatever coins that you measure it by? Can I get it cheaper? They said, yeah, at our expense. So how I look at it, it is what it is.
Now, I want you to ask that question again, if you don't mind.
The question is there a fundamental difference between the fall of white supremacy and the fall of America? Because I think they're different, but I'm not sure. And are they so closely intertwined if they are different that we can't really separate the two? Because if they can be separated, then this is my thought, and then I'm gonna let the question be where it is. My thought is the fall of white supremacy would be a good thing for everybody, although it would be a tough transition. And then we would have a different America, and America wouldn't necessarily have to fall if it accepted other things.
All right. Well, since you said Black Rule now, I'm gonna let him have first crack at that. Well, technically second crack now. and I'm gonna say something.
I mean, there's no separation between American white supremacy. The country was literally built on it. It was literally, the foundation of it is built on the exploitation of black, brown, and red people, exploitation of bone and muscle, exploitation of phallus and ovaries, exploitation of land, exploitation of creative genius, inventions, inventiveness, exploitation of geography, of land, of theft of property. I mean, every part of this country, every element of this country, from its very inception, was predicated on white supremacy. And it spread from, like I say, black, brown, red people, and it spread it to the Caribbean, to Polynesia, to Hawaii, right? All over this country. There are in about 100 countries in this on this planet. There are like what 400 or 500 military American military bases throughout the world. Exploitation of yellow people, of Philippine people, Japanese people, Vietnamese people, Malaysian people. What part of America does not involve white supremacy? What part of its history? What part of its infrastructure? The building of the railroads, the building of the highway systems, destroying black communities, destroying black properties and wealth and schools and hospitals. The Pentagon built right on top of what was then a prosperous black community. Central Park built on top of 2 or 3 prosperous black communities. So what part of America is not about exploitation? And you look at it even in our entertainment, you look at it in sports. The NFL, 80% black, 0 ownership. How is that not white supremacy? How's that not? How's the NBA, almost only exists because of black men? And there's only been one black owner. He just happened to be the greatest figure in the history of the sport.
Same thing with the NFL.
How is it? How are these things
LeBron
not
22.
white supremacy? So you can't really, in my view, really separate white supremacy from America. They are blood and bone. They are muscles and ligaments. They are heart and vessels and veins and arteries. They're all a part of the same organism.
Can I say something real quick before I jump off?
Go ahead, bro.
All right. It's in the liquor that you drink. John Daniels. I think John Daniels. I don't know if I'm saying the name
Jack
right.
Daniels.
Jack Daniels. That's a black man invention, bro. Jack Daniels is all around the planet. I'm literally looking at people from from Colombia to South Africa to all the way to Japan drink Jack Daniels. They drinking me though, but the white man get the credit for it.
Shout out to Uncle Nearest.
Literally, bro.
Yeah.
So like when you literally say
I need you to
everything
move
in
on
here
to
is white supremacy, it is, bro. Because like from the hair that these women
So
rock around the head.
unraveling.
My
So
bad, go
there's
ahead.
no unraveling white supremacy from America, brother. And that's the dilemma. And that's why when I started speaking, it was difficult for me to have a cogent or like a clear view of the situation, because if I look at it dispassionately, if I remove myself and my family and my loved ones from it, and I look at it, dispassionately, say this fucker should burn in hell.
Hey, can I say something before I close for today? Real quick.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Okay. My thing is that this. I want to save America, but I want to get rid of the mindset of white supremacy here in the United States. Okay? Because look, we were already, look, whether you're a Native American or a black Native American, look, we were here before. And I want to get rid of the mindset of white supremacy, just destroy the system and everything else, and keep America. White folks, we got to make the decision. All right, you got to make a decision. If you want to be born again and again and again, you got to follow our lead and everything else. You've elected so many white presidents and everything else, and they have failed you because you thought white supremacy was going to last a lifetime. It doesn't. Just like Rome, it failed. You want to go ahead and be in the ditch again? It's your fault. So I'm gonna land my plane. Thank you very much, guys.
All right, brother. Have a good weekend. Have a good weekend. Now I'm gonna say in response to that question too, because there is definitely interwoven into the picture. Because when you think about the hatred of black men, which came first, the American flag or hatred of black men? Think about that, y'all. The hatred of black men is older than the country's very symbol. Okay, is what it is. All right, and every single version of it. Because people may say, well, it used to be the 13th. Every version of the American flag, the hatred of black men is older than that. Okay, now how do you get rid of
Hey,
it?
Roger. They told me that my pension. Oh, they told me my pension was guaranteed. America said my pension guaranteed and my Social Security is guaranteed. If they keep that going, I'm good. But if they try to not honor their deal that they told me before I started working, I'm gonna be a little upset.
When have they ever honored any deal that they ever did?
Yeah, I'm gonna say
they don't. That's why I said I'm going to be upset if they don't honor their deal. But they told me I'm supposed to get a Social Security and I'm supposed to get my pension from my company. But I seen them do people wrong.
And they told
but ain't nobody else burning the house down.
They told that Indian man, looked him straight in his face and said, "I won't steal no more land." What they do?
I know of people who were told that same thing about when you retire, don't worry about it, it's all good. And then when they retired, nothing was good. So, that's even up in the air. In the back of my mind, not that I want to, but in the back of my mind, I do have an understanding that I may just have to work till the day I die. Because again, they already told me, we don't know what you're going to do. By the time you 65, bro, we don't even got no plan in place. America told me that through a letter. We ain't got no plan in place for you 65. So that ship is already sailed. And then the other thing is, there's always an issue of will we have that economic collapse? And, if it's in the future, that means I'm just older when it happens, if it does happen. So not the greatest position to be in. Because nothing you do is going to necessarily guarantee you your survival in this particular country. You may have to do a lot of stuff in other places in the country for it to work out for you. And that's just being real, So we got a lot of stuff to deal with. Now, I'm going to say, in order to separate white supremacy from America, you would have to get it out the school system. Because you teach the kids to be white supremacists when they're young. It's in all these other influences, but it's literally in the school system. So how do you separate what children learn regularly in school from a white supremacist mindset when your education, you graduating is based on you accepting principles of white supremacy? Your graduation is literally at stake for that, which means your future is literally at stake for you accepting ideas of white supremacy. How do you get rid of that?
Oh, that's cold. Graduating into white supremacy.
Bro, you was born into white supremacy. The food that you eat is white supremacist food. Like when I really tell you how hard I looked at this situation and I had to start figure out, I gotta abandon this shit all completely. Because at first I used to have a mindset that everybody else thought, maybe if we just do this, we can change her. Maybe if we speak like we speak good about America enough, maybe she'll change. Exactly, bro. Like the reality is, the end of the day, bro, you're not gonna get rid of white supremacy unless you want to do it. So unless you want to start dropping a lot of bombs on a lot of people, bro, you ain't gonna get rid of white supremacy. So how I look at it is like this: get your piece of it. Seriously, like how the Africans come over here, they come over here, they get their piece and they go back home. You didn't look at this shit in the same way, bro. I get my piece, I take what I need. Once it's done, it is what it is. If it fall, it fall. If it die, it die. And I come up and take up the pieces that's gonna be left. That's how you really fix this problem. Because at the end of the day, they will eat themselves. And once they've ate themselves into oblivion, you come and pick up the pieces and take what you want. That's how you fix the problem. No other way other than that.
Sounds like a plan to me.
I'll be selling guided tours to Colombia for the low price of $22,000 per visit. So just come through me, and we will. I'll keep you in a good position. Come to Colombia. I got you.
Come to Bogota. I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna be there for 2 weeks. Dead ass. If anybody
you handle Bogota, I handle Medellin.
Exactly. So the reality is, like, at this point, bro, niggas need to stop bitching. Like you either gonna go down with the ship and play the instrument to the last final moment on the Titanic, or you gonna be like, after I'm getting off this goddamn boat, and we really need to figure out who want to go down with the ship and who really trying to get on them lifeboats. So this is the lifeboat time, and you either own it or you not. What you gonna do? You gonna shit or get off the pot? What you gonna do?
Everyone on the panel has a free
visit
on me.
Oh, you were saying something?
That's definitely. That's definitely a part of the approach you have to take. Obviously, you need to prepare yourself to some degree. That's why I was saying earlier, to the extent that you can simplify your life, simplify your diet, simplify what you own or your possessions, it allows you to, if you're going to visit Colombia, if you're going to visit Uganda, whatever, the less you have, the less you own, the less you are owned by your possessions, and thus the less distracted you are by things that may not necessarily provide you with the flexibility you need to be able to live comfortably outside of the country. So I would just to affect what Tunnel Runner and Usual are recommending, I would say evaluate your life, make somewhat Spartan your lifestyle, so that you can, if I got to pick up and go to Colombia, South America, what if I got to pick up and go to Africa, I can figure out a way to quickly situate myself there without being concerned about a lot of other stuff that's not going to necessarily help me to effectively live there. And that also, I think, puts a premium on your health. If you have chronic issues, you have to be proactive in terms of how you're going to deal with those issues, especially if you're outside of the country. Blood pressure medication or insulin or whatever, what's going to be the best situation outside of the country for you to be in with those conditions. Or if you have some ailing, some tricky knee or ankle or whatever kind of problems you might accumulate along the way of living, you got to account for that in your planning to be able to effectively live and operate outside the country.
So, Black Guru, you would say absolutely no to that 50-year, $500,000 mortgage, I would think.
Well, you can always, if it's a good property, I guess, in a good place, you can always sell it and pay off that loan. Obviously, if you buy property in an area where property values are increasing, and that's going to be the case in a lot of different areas, given how things are trending economically in certain parts of the country. So depending on where the property is, it may be a great investment. Obviously, depending on what the interest rate, it may be a great investment. You just obviously don't necessarily expect to actually be there for 50 years.
Sounds
And
good.
then I guess if America economically collapses, I guess it don't really matter. I don't think a 50-year mortgage matters after there's an economic collapse. I don't think that matters.
Yeah, Black Guru is
Technically, you
absolutely
don't
right.
have any banks left at that point. You don't have banks left at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, Black Guru is
The
absolutely
country,
right.
the
There's no
country,
escalators. There's no, a lot of places, there's no escalators, no elevators. You got to go up them 5 flights of steps by yourself and you go down. You got to bring us up there and down. So, you know, American people, we are very pampered with certain things like, you know, the wheelchair ramps and all the kind of stuff like that. In other countries, that's don't really exist.
Oh yeah, and I just want to say this.
And certain parts of the world are very daunting in terms of congestion levels. You know, you got your flabellas and I guess you know Rio, and you know a lot of these places are not as comfortable to live in, particularly from a spacing standpoint in certain urban areas, as many of us, perhaps most of us, are accustomed in the United States. So again, you know, to the extent that you can limit what you got to hold on to, carry around, if being able to move about comfortably, very important, very, very important. So I would recommend in the planning for any sort of Mandalorian, I guess, existence. You know, the Mandalorians are pretty good about moving around here and there. So you're gonna have to be that way too.
All right, y'all. I want to get Jado in, and Floyd Thompson came in as well. So I want to get them in. Jado, you got the floor, my brother.
Oh, well, first I got to dip, but peace to you all, and thanks for having me on.
Okay, hey, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Have a great weekend.
You too. You too.
Matter of fact, for those who don't know, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, if you want to come to the best morning show, period. You want to come to the best show on social media, period. Not just on this one, on all of them. Subscribe and show up here 9 a.m. Monday through Friday, Chicago time. Not where you live, but Chicago time. Unless you happen to live in Chicago. Shout out to y'all. Come here 9 a.m. Chicago time, Monday through Friday. We do this every single day. Be here or be square, as they say. Y'all subscribe. And y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all hit that like button. And if you got a chance to, y'all hype me up. Real talk. Jado, you got the flow, my brother. You got the flow.
Hey, what's going on, Roger? Gentlemen on the panel, everybody in the chat, even the replay game. Man, great topic, Roger. It's just for the question of the show, should Black man care if America falls? I guess if I really have to answer it in a short, sweet way, is no. I always have conflicted thoughts and feelings, man, when we say, man, we built this country. Black people, we built this country. Black men, particularly, but Black people, we built this country. Because when I look at when I look at like the wealth of this country, I think we only have like 3.5% of the wealth of this country, man. And if I build something, man, I should be able to reap the benefits of it. I should own it and have it. It should be mine without a question. But that's not the case. And we can, whatever, we know the reasons why or whatever. So I always have conflicted feelings with that. But also, man, like when I do travel to other countries and stuff, man, just being American, man, it's just kind of it wields a lot of power, man. People look up to you. It's a lot of respect. And I think Black Hoover, you just hitting on it, man. Also, when I hit a lot of these places, man, I don't see a lot of the comforts, man. I don't see the trash pickup as well as it is in this great country, to be honest. I don't see the roads paved as well as it is, even though we got a lot of potholes and stuff. Nah, okay, I get it. Or just having a water heater in your house, or just having stuff, all the stuff that we've come accustomed to, even black people and even poor people we've come accustomed to, it's not available in a lot of other countries, man. So I definitely understand it. So I have a conflicted thing about it, but I understand that yeah, this great empire, so to speak, is gonna fall at some point. When will it fall? I don't know, of course, but I say we have to be prepared, black men. I say we should be, even though we do speak the most widely speaking language in the world, we should immerse ourselves in other languages. And if you can do, if you have a son or anybody young, a young black man, they should be immersing themselves in something, maybe Mandarin, Spanish, something, you know what I'm saying, immersing themselves in another language to be able to move and groove and operate maybe in other places, man, and be able to deal and do commerce and business with other people. Not getting used to, like, black folks. I love my collard greens and my mac and cheese, and Thanksgiving coming up. We like our dressing and all that stuff. Maybe you will have to, yeah, change your diet and adapt. Get out there and run, a couple miles 3 times a week and stuff to keep in shape and all that stuff. So basically, just being able to adapt and not just be, I guess, bogged down. Of course, I'm an FBA. This is my country. This is all I know. I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it. But at the same time, if something does happen, if some big collapse happens, I want to be prepared. And yeah, I guess I'll end right there. Thanks for having me, Ross.
Hey, appreciate it.
Well, I
Go
want to say
ahead.
one thing. I do. Me and Jay had the same mindset, but how I really quickly got over that mindset was like this: you a stepdaddy. Repeat this again, nigga. You a stepdaddy, nigga. All right, see what I'm saying, right? Yeah, cool. You the one who actually put in the skill set. You the one who actually make this motherfucker actually, quote unquote, look good to everybody else around the city. And then when everybody say, "Ooh, America, this," yeah, they think of the shit that you did, but this ain't your baby. It ain't your baby at the end of the day, bro. Now I know you may have put in $15,000. I'm pretty sure you may have put in 2,000 hours, 10,000 hours of work or whatever. But at the end of the day, this ain't your baby. and that's how I look at it. At the end of the day, this ain't my baby. So if it dies, it dies. If it lives, it lives. It's not my concern. That's how I look at it.
That's an interesting way to phrase that, but I definitely can accept that. yeah. It's all good. As long as it lives, it's all good. But if it die, I'm not gonna cry over it. Okay. Yeah, that's how I'm taking it. Yeah, if it dies, I'm not gonna cry. And I'm gonna say this. Yeah, I wouldn't care. Okay, I wouldn't care. Now, somebody is in the chat saying, I mean, what was it? It was something about if America falls, the other places you gonna retreat to gonna fall too. He don't quite get the concept of the show. Okay, because he think this is about us not understanding economics, even though, I mean, I'm not gonna even say who we got on the panel. So obviously they're just talking out of turn. Sometimes people just talk too quick and they never actually pay attention to something to make real ideas. Let's be realistic, y'all. If America falls and somebody else falls, and I don't even live in that other country, what difference does that make to me? My position don't change. Okay? You ain't got to know everything to know enough. My position ain't gonna change. I'm not really concerned with who's in charge of America if it ain't black men. Because no one else in America had shown that they have the ability to run America in a way that would be good for me. So why would I be all that concerned with who's running? Go ahead.
The reason why I can't be too like pro rah America, whatever I hope and pray for America is we don't have any control over what happens. We don't have any control over the the major decisions that are being made at any real level, militaristically, diplomatically, economically, monetarily. We don't have any control over it. And so, because we don't have any control over it, why would I burden myself with any concern about the fall of it? I only really concern myself very much with things that I have some modicum of control and influence over. Where America has made a lot of terrible moves throughout its entire history, even predating the actual incorporation of the country itself, um, has made a lot of terrible moves that I would never have agreed with, and it made those moves anyway. And therefore, I can't be concerned about the possible fall of something that I had no real role in making and creating and enforcing to begin with. I just can't. It doesn't make sense for me to really be concerned about it in that way. Obviously, I'm concerned about myself. I'm concerned about my family and children, and we talk a lot, and we have some bug out sort of items. But and hey, if things go particularly bad and we're overwhelmed by it, well, I mean, that's kind of history. History. A lot of people have been overwhelmed by the circumstances of the times of the history in the era they're in. I guess that's why some of you all are Christian. I don't know, but in the end, I can really only be really concerned about something that I have some control over, and that's why I said, get your health up, get your nutrition right. At least you can control those things.
Well, I know that you asked that question in a facetious way, but the real answer to that is that brothers that speak like some of these brothers are speaking in the chat, they are addicted to white supremacy. They don't even know it. Addicted to it. They can't live without it. They can't breathe without it. They don't know how to put their clothes on without it. They are afraid that if this environment falls, they're not going to know what to do with themselves. But what they don't realize is we're only 13% of the population. We're at the bottom on average in all key performance metrics. If this falls, what you gonna do? Fall through the floor?
We already at the ground level, bro.
No, I think it's the emotional attachment behind it, the ideas behind it. I think that's the main thing, man. You know what I'm saying? The ideology behind it. And yeah, you're right, man. People are addicted to white supremacy. Absolutely. I think it's the idea behind. That's why when we were talking about culture and stuff, sometimes I ask like, what exactly are we trying to hold on to when we say
Yes.
culture, man? You know what I'm saying? And I never got a real good answer for that, man, to be quite honest with
Listen,
You know what
okay,
we're trying to hold on to, Jado? This is what we're trying to hold on to. We're trying to hold on to what exists between us right now in this conversation. That we are Black American men, and there's a particular history there. There's a particular connection there. There's a particular language there. There's a particular music there. It's unique. It's not replicated anywhere else on this planet. It's us being able to laugh about the same kind of things in a way that nobody really can know and feel.
you.
It's us being able to dance a certain kind of way where other people can't really actually dance that way. It's us
But
being able to recall certain things about it's us being able to recall episodes of Good Time, in the Cosby Show, and understand the meaning of what James Evans means. Nobody else don't really know what James Evans really means. That's Black American culture.
but but Black Rule, you're right. But that's inseparable to white supremacy. So you're right. That you don't get that without white
And
supremacy.
that's all we got. And that's all we got.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah,
all we
yeah,
got.
you're right.
Then you got
Absolutely.
That's
nothing
all we
then,
got.
bro.
But if
Absolutely.
it falls, we will have to become something else.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
will have to
Exactly.
develop
Yes.
something else.
That's the point. Yes.
Yeah, but and then that's why I gotta ask myself if we did fall and we came and became something else, is this just me showing up to the same job with the same position and ain't that much different?
Is man, I look at this shit. So like, for me, I've been looking at this for years. Like I already mapped out the places that where you can quote unquote go if you ever really want to know. Yeah, y'all can contact me. You know, I ain't that hard to find. You know, I'm not that elusive. You know, I'm not that elusive, right? But at the end of the day, like for me, I already know my house is where my home is, where my the people that I love and care about are, and the people who love and care for me back. That's really for me is where my home is. So for me, I can be in on the moon as long as the people that I care about, or if my friends and my family or the people that I have bonds with are on the moon, then the moon is my home. If I live in the depths of the goddamn ocean, bro, as long as my friends and the people that I care about is is like it's quote unquote in the ocean, then that's the only place that I call home, right? For me, these are only landmarks of from wherever you come from. Right back, because at the end of the day, because like they say, your heart is where your home is, right? So for me, how I look at it, like it doesn't really matter where I'm at necessarily, as long as I have my brotherhood of dudes that's quote unquote that's of like mind necessarily, and we're trying to go to the same place and achieve things. It don't matter where we go, because at the end of the day, the way we look at things and the way we achieve things is only a reflection of our greatness, of our skill set and our ability to do. So you can put me in South Africa, I will still be the same man that I am in South Africa, but a better version of it. You can put me in China, I'm still gonna be the same dude that I am, just in China, but a better version of it. So for me, it don't matter where I'm at necessarily. I'm still gonna be who I am. It just, you know, wherever I am, I'm still where I am. That's it.
Okay. So if things were to change over, you might end up being a better version of yourself. And you just not necessarily against that. I can understand that. All right, y'all. We got no place older who done came up as well. So I do got to get him in. No place older. You got the flow, my brother.
Hello, Roger. Sorry.
No, glad to have you here, brother. Glad to have you here.
Yeah, sorry. I had to take a quick to clear my throat. What's going on to you? And I have a terrible sinus. And the rest of the panel, how you guys doing?
Doing well, brother. Doing
What's
well.
up,
Hey
bro?
man,
What's
hope
up, bro? How
hope
you
it
doing? Hey, for sure.
Yeah, yes. I've been listening to the entire show. I agree with almost everything. Um, I'm probably gonna reiterate a few points. Um, uh, beginning with the Kryptonian. Um, when he mentioned from the perspective of how he saw it, I agree with him about the quantity of Black American men, FBA people in America, and what's going to happen. And being that this is your home and your background, it it does matter. I also agree with usual visions about opportunity abroad. I know that's not going to be for a large percentage of people because I'm from obviously for another country. Coming to America would be an opportunity abroad for me, but the percentage of people in my country that can actually come to America that can take advantage of opportunities in the small numbers. So so essentially yeah, using that as a parallel, I agree that that it's going to be a transition, like Black Movie said, of changing culture. But I think the opportunity in America might change as a result of that, because America still is an isolated country, meaning that essentially that Canada is pretty much captured, and on the southern South America is pretty much captured, big ocean on both sides. So there is an opportunity for Black America to benefit from that, meaning that if there is a fall, it would kind of lead to a certain level of coalescing, that kind of forced coalescing, if you will. And I think there should be an opportunity to come out of that, well, for Black men. And this probably goes along with the point that was made about Littlefinger and Chaos, the latter. So I definitely agree with that. Thanks for having me up, Roger.
All right. Now I'm gonna ask a question. Since you do actually have a home country to go back to, if America falls, are you just gonna go back to your home country?
No, I left for a reason. I left for a reason, Roger. If America falls, I'm just gonna find a better opportunity, probably China, or basically somewhere in South America. Maybe Malaysia. So I'm saying Singapore.
See,
What? Yeah.
that brother right there has a proper mindset. Like we should start referring to ourselves and operating as global citizens because you have an opportunity to become just that. I'll give you a quick example. You could move to the Dominican Republic if you can find a remote job, something that will allow you to stay attached to the American economic system. Move to the Dominican Republic for 2 years. Yeah, it only takes 2 years to become a citizen. Once you become a citizen there, Spain has uh, uh, visa program or a citizenship program that allows you to instantly become a citizen if you're a citizen of another Latin country. And Spain has one of the most powerful visas across the world. So in 2 years, you could have citizenship for three different countries and be able to move about this globe very, very freely. Whether the United States system is moving the way you want it to move or not. These are examples of how to become a global citizen. But we are so attached to what the heck is going on right here because we watch ourselves together and listening to what other people are saying instead of going out and experiencing these things and listening to brothers that are actually having these experiences that we're just mentally stuck right here on this plantation.
Okay.
My bad. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah. I just want to say real quick, because I'm gonna say shout out to No Placeholder, because now I asked him that question for a reason. Now, of course, he say, no, it's just not. I'm not just going back home. What he's saying is, no, I'm going to the next best thing smoking. That's really what he said. Okay, I'm gonna take a look at what the situation is, or whatever I think the best opportunity. That's where I'm headed.
I'm going, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So home is nice, but it ain't everything. Okay. Or you gotta, really think about what do you consider home? Like Usual Business is saying, what do you really consider home? Because his home is wherever his people at and wherever he can find his joy. It's not a specific location. All right, go ahead, Usual Business.
Yeah, I was gonna say this, like just like I think the guy I think the Great Black Reset. Okay, there you go. The Great Black Reset. If you want to, it's easy. I already mapped this out. You can become a citizen of South Africa. I would advise you to do it the correct way. Please don't do what some other Africans and people have done down there. If you in the know, right? But go down there, be a citizen in that country. You have access to most of the world economy, right? If you want to become a citizen of Brazil, bro, plenty of black folk down there. You can also be a global citizen because, hey, man, their passport pretty much allows you to go to multiple places, right? At the end of the day, man, if you really decide looking at this thing seriously, I know most black people won't, because how many people in this room? Maybe at max, maybe 200, max, right? So out of the 45 million people, we only got 200 folk who actually considered coming to the best show on the internet, Roger's show, to gain some information and some knowledge. So that's only 200 people, or the people that's in here are only going to be the people that's quote unquote qualified to be saved, because those are the only people worthy enough or did the work to quote unquote look for Roger's information and stick to it and find it. So it's plenty of places you can go to and get citizenship and enjoy the wealth of the world, instead, right? Or enjoy the world in general. You just have to be willing to do it.
I'm gonna say, well said, my brother, especially with the shout out. Well said. Appreciate that. Real talk. And as I think about it, even as we're doing this show, if America does have this change, this great transition, what's it really gonna cost me? Not too much. Okay. I understand that people say that, the devil could be better than the devil you don't know. Well, both of them the devil. Where's the big change? They still both the devil. The devil ain't got nothing good for me. So what difference does it truly make? So when I think about things from that perspective, what do I really have to lose when it's all said and done? You know, and I understand people say, well, you know, the value of your money may collapse. It may collapse anyway, y'all. Okay. If you're planning for retirement, it may not be around anyway. That's something people got to be real about. It may not. The government told me it may not be around, and I wouldn't even expect our American government to even do something like that. I'm honestly a little shocked that they even told me that a couple decades ago. Okay, because it was over a couple decades ago when they sent me that letter. I'm a little shocked they even sent it. Truth be told. Was somebody about to chime in?
Yeah.
Go
So
ahead.
I'm like the villain in The Sinners. You're already black. What's the problem being a vampire on top of that?
Say according to the system, we already done been through the worst of it, huh?
Yeah, you're already black. What? Just be a vampire. It ain't that bad.
Hey, Roger, man, over the years, bro, when I was particularly still like active duty in the military, man, I tried to recruit so many like young people, man, young black men, quite a bit, just to get them out so they can do something or whatever. And the biggest impediment to that, they didn't want to leave mama, bro.
Yep.
And I kind of look at that as an analogy, the same way as like America too.
America is
The
mama.
same. Yes, 100%. It's that
Well,
attachment, man.
yeah.
Well, I can definitely see in that being the issue because I would say even myself, America has always been somewhat of an issue because when y'all know how it is, you're in high school and they start talking to you about what you're gonna do with your future, and the military, usually gonna send a couple people here and there to some places to see who they can recruit. And the idea of fighting for America was a great impediment to me seeing value in joining the military at the time. Now, I appreciate every brother who's done military service, and I thank you for what you've done when it comes down to it. Because regardless of your perspective, I know you looked out for me in some kind of way. But I will say, back in those days, when I was, junior, senior in high school, and they started sending the people around, and you talk to these recruitment people, whatever, I just had a whole issue with being able to be tagged as fighting for America. So, I love it because it's mine. It's my country. But do I love it enough to fight for it? I just don't think I ever had that in me. Would I ever have it in me? Doubt it. Just being realistic. If I fight, it won't be for the quote unquote the country. It'd be more for my family, more for my people, more because it's just necessary for me to maintain some situation. But for America itself, no, that wouldn't even be. I don't even think that would be in the back of my mind. Is I gotta save this thing so I can have these other things. Probably more of a mindset that maybe they had when the Civil War was going on. Mm-hmm. I don't think those black men was fighting for the love of the country. They were fighting for the freedom they could have if it doesn't change over. Okay, well, if America changes over, because at that time it was cool for them just to be in slavery. So I don't think they fought for America because they love the country. No, they was fighting for their freedom and the freedom of their wives, the freedom of their children, the freedom of their grandkids, the freedom for the unborn. But it wasn't really about the country. So I ain't said I wouldn't fight, but the fight probably would never be for America.
You better than me, bro, because I ain't gonna lie to you. Hey, unless they come, like if the Chinese walk in and take over the United States today, and I repeat this, they walk down the street right now today, bro. And as long as they skip my house, specifically, bro. If they skip my house and be like, "Hey, bro, you cool, you black," but I ain't, hey, bro, whatever happened to everybody else, it is what it is, bro. Personally, right? I mean, as long as they ain't dragging random black folk out their house and just shooting them in the back, bro. Nah, I ain't. Hey, bro, whatever happened, it is what it is, man.
Nah. See, now you changing the game. You see, now if somebody came over here and excluded the assault with black folks, see now you giving me something else to think about now. Because now I can't guarantee you I'm gonna fight if whatever invading force was like, look, we ain't got no problem with black people. We know y'all been through some stuff. This ain't even about y'all. If y'all just sit to the side and let us have our fight with these white folks and these folks running the country, it's gonna be all good. Now that could be a straight up lie, but the way America has done me, I probably would accept that lie. I would have to see what they do, so I can fight to maintain what we got right now, or I can see what they gonna do if they win and get in charge. Whoo, that ain't a tough decision for me, y'all. I hate to say it, that's not necessarily a tough decision for me. I could just chill out and not be involved in the fight at all. I ain't got to risk my life for nothing. And I got a chance of somebody treating me better. Not saying they are, because you don't know what somebody gonna do until it's time to do it. But I got a chance that somebody might treat me better, or might treat me exactly the same as I'm getting treated right now. And I just step aside from the fight. Well, I do like living, you know. I will put my life on the line, but it ain't nothing I'm necessarily running to do. You know, I'll do it if it's necessary. I've said before, ain't too many people I'm just gonna die for. You know, I die for certain folks, but ain't too many people I'm just gonna die for. Yeah, I might chill on that one, bro. I might have to see what these new people talking about.
Exactly, bro. Thomas gonna have to learn how to bob and weed today, bro. Thomas gonna learn how to bob and weed today, goddamn it.
Yeah. I don't know about y'all, but that's a whole lot of opportunity. Somebody say, "No, we come and attack the people in charge. We gonna leave you alone." Yeah, that's a whole lot of opportunity right there, because I could have a lot of opportunity in whatever this new regime is.
Mexico and said they're invading and they taking half of the southern states, bro. I'm like, hey, bro, hey, man, you know, I mean, hey, bro, you remember that fajita I got you that one day? You know that fajita I got you that one day, bro? Hey, bro, you know, bro, hey, bro, see my brother, yes, bro.
Yeah, I mean, if I end up eating a lot more Mexican food than I'm used to, I'd be all right.
Like I'm saying, hey, bro, I can eat more fried rice. It ain't gonna hurt me, bro.
Yeah.
One more fried rice plate ain't gonna break me. I promise you God it's
Yeah. So, I mean, it is an interesting thing. Now, do I think America's fall is inevitable? Not necessarily. But I will say this, things I have learned about history. And they do say when you get a country at the point where the men won't protect it anymore, a new group of men usually come in and take over. Not because they couldn't be stopped. It's just the men that was there didn't feel like it was worth the fight. That's crazy when you think about it, but that's historical. That's historic. The men there just didn't feel it was worth the fight.
What you gonna fight? Because at the end of the day, you fight for something that you want. You fight for something that's gonna be benefit you. So why would I fight for my own oppression? Why would I fight to have KK Keisha come and tell me F you in my face, and knowing the simple fact that I'm the one who made all the inventions that she can sit here and wear her high heels on and tell me I ain't shit, bro. How I look at this shit in a reality term is apply this. Me as a Black American man, bro, I got the biggest flex on the world, bro, because only 3 people on the planet can say let there be light and actually did that shit. God, the first African, and me, bitch. You think I'm gonna take some trash from you? Oh, hell no, bro.
And I'm gonna say this too, y'all, because as crazy as it may sound, because y'all may be sitting there looking like, well, you know, if somebody really came to try to take over, they ain't gonna just set you to the side. According to people who actually went to Vietnam, okay, I can't tell you what the government's gonna say about it, but according to people who actually went to Vietnam, they said they were literally announcing on loudspeakers, saying, giving some type of message, basically saying, Black men, this ain't got nothing to do with y'all. Just chill. We ain't coming after y'all. Let us fight the ones we trying to get at. That's what was reported from people on the ground. So it may be sound crazy to hear somebody say, "Well, yeah, but they brought the war to us." That well, they ain't gonna leave you alone just because you black. No, this is something that happened before. This is something that literally has happened in the past. Okay, according to the people who went to Vietnam. Now, I don't know if you're gonna be able to find that in American history. I'm gonna say talk to somebody who went. We still got people alive who went to Vietnam. You can get a first-hand account. So if they gave me the option to sit it out, if they come over here invade and they say, "Oh, that's a black neighborhood, we skipping that one." I mean, I guess I'm supposed to be in some type of complex ideal of what I'm supposed to do. But is it really going to be that big of an issue for me? Probably not. Probably just going to go back in the house and chill and figure out who win.
Hey,
And let's
Rod.
say, go ahead.
No, Rod, I'm just sorry, bro. I'm a cynic, bro. I'm a cynic, man. I get the point you're making. I absolutely get it, man. But in both scenarios, we're like I don't want to say subservient, like I guess we're the underclass, so to speak, man. That's what I don't know. I just hate. Yeah, man. I don't I don't know. It's kind of sad, bro. Like even both of these hypothetical scenarios, it ain't us like trying to take over. So you know what I mean? It's like, okay, which one of these people we're gonna be at the mercy of? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I
You get
mean,
what I'm? Yeah.
If
no,
you
I
want to
do
go
get
that
what you
route,
said. I do get what you said, and that's why I said earlier. It's like going to work and somebody bought the company you work for, but your job description never changed. Do you really care? I didn't work in banking a little bit. Well, I did some temporary stuff in banking, and I could have got on with the bank. I didn't technically work in bank because I never made it official to work for the bank. So I was close to it, but I didn't technically work in bank because I wasn't working for the actual bank. I mean, I seen the banks change names. I seen how that went. I could have stayed on with the company, but at a particular time they told me I had to move to a different state for me to stay, and for me to like sign on with them and be an official part of their bank, I had to leave and go to a different state because they was making changes, and I just didn't want to go. I wanted to stay here. So, I just look at it as the name on the banners, the name on the banners change. The signs outside change. Everything else pretty much stayed the same. So if it ain't us taking over, it really ain't that big a deal to me.
it don't matter. It don't unless you fight, like I said, like just like Roger said, unless we fighting for our own quote unquote piece of the United States. So let's say you want to quote unquote, this is hypothetically, please understand this is hypothetically conversation, right? You wanted to take over Georgia, right? And you wanted to make Georgia your own city state. Now, cool. If you want to do that, all right, I got you back on that. I got you that on that one. But then you're gonna have to, by virtue, you still got to get rid of a quarter of your people still got to go or more, right? Quarter of the men got to go. More than a quarter of the women got to go. At the end of the day, it still is what it is. Now, granted, it's sad that it is, but it's still the reality as we see it, right? So for me, how I look at it is like this: you can either be real ruthless, go over there and put somebody off their land, right, or go fight this government for this little bit of land, right? That's your two options. That's your only two options. Or go out of this, leave this planet and go and start your own shit.
Well, there you go. Now you got to leave the planet. All right.
You can fight for this little bit of piece of land you got right here. You can get real gangster, run up on the Philippines and snatch the Philippines for the Filipinos or whatever, right? Or whatever you want to do. But that's your only two options, bro. Your only three options.
I mean, truth be told, all the land on the planet has basically been claimed at this point. It's very few places that ain't been claimed.
Right?
Yeah. So,
okay,
but,
I see what I'm saying. Separate the land you got from the white folk, right? Which means you still gonna have to fight somebody, or go to a new planet. What's your option, bro?
Okay, well, we got Truth Teller here, so let me let Truth Teller get in because he being the old Truth Teller again. We barely got any time left. He done
Old
fell
habits
back
die
into the old,
hard, sir. I'm
he done
sorry.
fell back into it, but it's all good.
I've retrogressed. I'm in the process of upgrading my software, so we had to go back to default settings, players. This is a real easy question, right? This is a real easy question to answer. Most people are not gonna like the answer. It's irrelevant. We should not care if the ship crashes, right? Actually, we should probably want it to crash. That's where the the best opportunities for us to do our thing will happen. Now, most people get scared when they hear that, right? They hear, "Oh, a mess is coming, man. What am I gonna do?" That's a good question to ask if you're in the mindset of there's gonna be some advantages I can get out of this. Let me take advantage of it versus I ain't gonna be able to do nothing, man. When it comes, I'm gonna be stuck. Honestly, we shouldn't care. And truth be told, all of our successes in this country came from chaos happening and us using that to our advantage. So maybe we should take that lesson and move with it. And there's another option besides either take the land or just deal with the situation. You could just manipulate or convince the other people to just give it to you. That's a little different tactic though, but that requires a whole different discussion.
Yeah, but, you get enough people fighting, ain't no telling what kind of deals you can make though.
You ain't
Like,
lying.
so
All you gotta do is ask him, you need my help? Oh, really? Okay. Oh, that sound like you really need a lot of help. Well, guess what I'm gonna need before I can help you?
You
And
know what?
don't get fair. That's not the point of the negotiation when you decide to get fair. That's not when fairness happens. Fairness happens at the end of the deal when you sign the agreement.
so you ain't been fair your whole life. You gonna be fair now?
I stand on one thing when it comes to dealing with white people. If you will break a deal today, you'll break a deal tomorrow. And this man ain't never held a deal in his life that he ever stood by. He ain't held it with the Indians. He ain't hold it with the Tainus. He ain't hold it with his own people. He ain't hold it with the Arabs. He ain't hold it with the Chinese. He ain't hold it with the Japanese. So for me personally, how I look at this shit, right? The only law that actually matters is the law that you get what you kill, bro. You eat what you kill. So if you can get it and obtain it and hold it, then it's yours, bro. So quote unquote, if the Chinese come up here tomorrow, bro, and they say, "Hey, we gonna hit everybody but the black community, bro." But David, I hope you got some hands, boy, because boy, them Chinese folk gonna get on your ass.
He said, "David, I hope you got some hands."
Have to be David, like David and Goliath.
He been saying master race for the last 400 years, bro. We gonna see if you the master race. Now go ahead and whoop little 458 Chinese boy.
Say, here's your chance to prove it, bro. Here's your chance. I mean,
hey, bro, am I lying though?
No, you're not lying. You're not lying. And you know what? I think it's good that black men actually think about this because at the end of the day, if we not in charge, does it really make a difference who is in charge? And I know a lot of people say, well, no, you shouldn't want America to fall because it's your country and, you just don't know how things will change up from you. Is the unknown always worse than the known? It's not. Sometimes there's great opportunity in the unknown. There's great advancement in the unknown. There's a lot of great times in the unknown, depending upon where you end up in the unknown. But I'm going to say collectively, because it's not about me as a person. It's not about any particular person on the panel. When it all comes down to it, when I look at every black man in this country and I say, okay, well, how do we look as a collective? Well, maybe something should change. And that's just real talk. You know, when I look at what it took for us to do what we to obtain the things that we have obtained, maybe there do needs to be a change. Okay, I'm not saying I'm trying to lead no coalition to change nothing for all the white people listening. Like, we gonna have to get this nigga, he talking too much. Now, I'm not even saying I'm trying to lead nothing. I'm just saying if somebody attack y'all, I'm really not tripping. That's all I'm saying. I'm probably gonna feel just as strongly as I did. I dare say during 9/11. I don't think that was just an attack on people of America. I do believe that was an attack on certain people of America. And I don't happen to fit that category. And I'm just going to leave it there, y'all, because we finna hit that 3-hour mark. So, y'all, if y'all open up y'all Bibles and get ready to Bible study, we about to be out of here. True, since you came at the very last moment, would you like the last word on this particular show?
All I can really say is understand where the path of opportunities lie, y'all. Stop playing games. That's it.
All right, y'all. Subscribe to the channel. We'll be back Monday morning, 9 a.m. Chicago time, not your time. 9 a.m. Chicago time. Long live the Habitual Line Steppers. I'm Roger. I'm right. And I'm out.